I have a question for you about this matchup that we have here in front of us. You see the drafting, it didn't go either of these players' way, and they got stuck with one singular civilization for the whole series. Now, which one would you rather see against Abbasid in the finals, though?
Ooh. Order of the Dragon.
Order of the
100%.
Dragon.
Yeah,
Interesting. Okay.
Now, because I dislike English more.
So there's a little bit of resentment going on here.
Slight. But that's just because I'm bad against them, you know. It's a little copium, a little bit of resentment, kind of a combination of both.
All right. Well, guys, we are gonna go into our first game on Coastal Cliffs. I hope you ladies are ready for English versus Order of the Dragon in our finals. I'm honestly a little bit surprised that we got here after all this time. But ladies and gents, let's go into the next one. And we're in. Drow, take it away. Tell me about this player we have in front of us, brother.
Well, we got this Puppypaw right here, and I don't think this man needs any introduction, but I'll do it anyways.
What is
This guy he's gonna play some Order of the Dragon, and he's gonna, and I'm hoping, and I know all of you are hoping as well for this to see some Dark Age stuff. I doubt it, but we're always hoping for it. It's never gonna happen, but we can hope.
No,
Other than that, though, the fuel is crazy. Sorry.
Order of the Dragon does a lot of Dark Age stuff, but not against English, I would say. Now, on the other side, though, we do have some Dark Age stuff, and I think that's probably what we didn't expect to see this game, where VortiX decides to play the game of the HRE and the Order of the Dragon, who so love to do Spearmen early on. Look at him going to destroy the mining camp to try and save the wood, because he did scout this.
That is absolutely wild. May as well grab it all in one go anyways. You don't got to worry about it after that.
And that's exactly what he did.
That was an amazing scout, too. I would definitely have fallen victim to that barracks. That's for darn sure. There it goes. The Vanguard at Arms coming across for a mission and a half. Although he's going to be sorely disappointed when he gets there.
Now he's going to find out that, hey, mining camp got cancelled. And this might not be very obvious to what just happened here. This might be one of those instances where he's like, huh? Is he on the other cold? He saw me come this way? But luckily, we are not the people playing, because that's the thoughts that we might have. But VortiX, he has a scout. He knows that there are no shenanigans on there. So, yes, he didn't finish building it, just cancelled it midway. So we got that full return on the wood. And he might actually be able to do something with that wood afterwards. But now, this man-at-arm just being very sad, standing around. He might even kill that sheep. Nope, never mind. He's not an angry man. He's just a confused man about the journey here. Now, VortiX is quite known for his sneaky shenanigans and crazy plays. So, thinking about Puppypaw and VortiX, where do you land in this matchup?
What do you mean? Where do I land?
Where do you land on the play style? Like when I think of VortiX, I think of someone wild. When I think of Puppypaw, I think of someone who sometimes he plays very standard, but sometimes he just pulls something out of the hat, and you're like, huh? How did that work? And it works. It works every time. So what do you think about these two?
Now, last time I checked, I thought Puppypaw was more of an aggressive man, although not as wild as the VortiX. He's still an aggressive man. So I'd like to see both these aggressive men pull out some sly tactics, especially on a map like this where, like, what is this map? What the heck? What? We got Fishums down there by the down by the river. How do you get down there?
You don't get down there. And this is why I know you cast FFAs only, because this map is the tournament map of dreams. And guys, thank you for the subs, and thank you Voke for the gifted subs. Appreciated. So yeah, as we can see, the fish here, it's all an illusion. All we see here are fish that are just there to distract the audience. Now, this is not a map that we see on ladder. That's why most people are not aware of it. And it is just made so that it's a little bit smaller and it can force the aggression from both players.
And although the resources are scattered too. I mean, it's not like they're all focused in the middle. I mean, there are some in the middle, but like they seem scattered. Like on the north, we've got 3 gold lands to the right of VortiX, but on Puppypaw's side, they're kind of just scattered around his base. Quite interesting.
Now, I don't think that's the intended way that the map does things, but, you know, these things do happen. Now, as we look at what they've aged up with, we know that the chapel here onto the wood line, which has been regarded as the most important resource for most players here, we usually saw a little bit of professional scouts for most people in the early game. Now, with the mill being dropped here, I'm not thinking anything different, especially with the amount of people we see on gold. Now, Order of the Dragon is a civilization that, just like HRE, they don't mind staying in castle. Their units are very chunky, and when you get to a situation where most people go for professional scouts, it is quite nice to be able to outlast your opponent and do an easy farm transition with the bonus that the Arcane Chapel gives you.
We got that sad at arms back there looking for some revenge too. He's back here. He's still angry about the gold choppas. He didn't get a chop, and now he's looking at those wood chop. Oh, maybe not actually. He's just patrolling the berry boys.
He just wanted to assert his dominance of existence in his heart. He basically wanted to see what's going on and acting as a pseudo-scout, because VortiX is very aware of the fact there's some stuff going on over here. He sees that these boys are living their best life over on the outside gold. Now, with him going for the longbows, there's one nice thing. Did you know this about longbows, Drow? They outrange towers. So, did you know that?
I did. Although, oh wait, hang on. Yeah, he could get a relic in that tower. Not a relic tower. That would be a different story.
Not yet. Not yet. He's not going to get to castle anytime soon.
He will. No, look at that stable that's going down now. He's looking to go across with some horseman chapters, huh? Yeah, oh man, what is that line of units?
Usually with Order of the Dragon, you can see he's building that first scout out now. Now with the horsemen, it would be a perfect response to what's coming his way. We do see the longbows now trying to find an angle where the tower will not bother them either. So getting an emplacement here will allow for him to harass. Thank you very much, Dr. Drunkler Spugler, for the 5 gifted as well. So you can see that longbow, he's very, very happily firing away or just causing idle time. Because again, you guys know that these villagers, they're just worth more. So getting 4 of them to be idle is worth basically 5 being idle. So a very, very happy play here from Mr. VortiX. Now the king is in the vicinity, but he needs to be careful. These spearmen do a lot of damage to him.
Oh, that king was not happy about that hit. My goodness. Even the tower taking a couple of pot shots as he runs away. Luckily, those longbows are there, though, to save the day. Holy moly. And to be annoying, of course.
Now, when we see the professional scouts starting to pour in this food, that's how you know Puppypaw is going to be a very, very happy camper. Villagers, again, moving back and forth. They're not really getting their ideal position, but the singular horseman has joined the party. And we know exactly how longbows feel against horsemen, but especially against gilded horsemen. These guys are even spicier.
Oh yeah, they're still doing getting some pot shots in though. Only a man-at-arms to save the day though. Couple of Achilles, longbowmen going down. Nice. Oh, look at those sneaky spearmen up there, coming out of nowhere. That was a sweet little flank there for Puppypaw. Dang. Even though it wasn't just a spearman's flanks, I like it. I still like it. Scout somehow got away. Oh, you lucky ducky.
And now he's in a position where these villages are going to be under duress. Because now you have these longbows that, yes, when the emplacement comes, they're going to not be able to outrange, but you're kind of in a tough position. You're not going to be able to defend yourself against this. And now it's going to feel worse and worse to be able to move back and not get the resources. Because you've committed to this gold. You've put a tower here. You feel committed here. You can see now with the range here, these guys are still going to be in danger. So they have to get pulled back and a villager goes down. With the king constantly raiding, you also have a lot of idle villagers over here on wood consistently.
And that king's patrolling the outskirts of the town too for that pro scouts that he's definitely trying to deny. A couple of scouts though sneaking by, which is super, super important. It's not stopping that king though from looking around for those scouts. He's hungry. It looks like gold's gonna go down now, unfortunately. All that investment.
Now, that investment might go down, but with the horseman here, he should be able to actually contest this. Men-at-arms are providing a pretty good front line, and the reason these guys are trading well is purely because of the +1 on the longbows. These longbows are actually doing real damage, and I feel like we might already have a little bit of a GG situation on our hands. because this is such a tough position to be in. Now there's longbows standing right on top of your wood line, and I don't know about you guys, but when I have longbows in my wood line, I start to panic. These guys have the range of nightmares, and these units that we see here, they're gonna do fine, but not without any upgrades, which they have none of. Now the spearmen trying to frontline this as well, but we have spearmen on the other side too. The longbows doing an amazing job at fighting them out, fighting them, and constantly target firing. Because remember, these units are double the cost and double the punch, but also double the loss.
Yeah, and they're definitely going down. Yeah, it's unfortunate too losing that wood line, because it's not like he can just look left and there's his next one. He's got to move out for that next wood line. That's just bloody unfortunate. And it's forward too, which is So this is definitely, like you said, an amazing work by VortiX, trying to get them pot shops into the wood choppers, and the Occam's right there too. So if you were to pop down, farms on the outside, that would be also a very unfortunate.
Yeah, when I look at the situation here, I can already see the villagers are going to be in a lot of danger. We're in a situation where the villagers here are trying to get every bit of wood they can, but even our deer is under this chapel here. Now he's trying to do a little bit of a counter push because he knows that he needs to find a way to pull this army back. Because right now, he doesn't have anything in his base to actually deal with this. So he hasn't gone back onto the other gold yet. You can see that this is a little bit of a tough situation. He's trying to get around here. Another villager going down, which is a really big pickup. And the army value, even though it's pretty close between Puppypaw and VortiX, the quality of the army is just better right now for VortiX, as he has units that can deal with anything. VortiX killing yet another one. The archers now making this a little bit harder, but the king is there to frontline and take a few shots. Longbows are target firing everything they can, quickly making these look like they're made of paper.
Yeah, having an army lurking outside your base, not to mention a couple squads outside your base, is always just so tense. Because at least in my league, you're making missteps and whatnot, and you're forgetting things, and you're focused on a lot other things other than what you're supposed to be. Obviously, these players are giga chads, but yeah, definitely not a position you want to be in this.
Yeah, with these
mass retreat.
The men-at-arms retreating definitely gives him this hope, this little bit of hope that he has right now, that there might not be another wave coming that might be as strong. But now, with the units that we see here, they're going to get countered quite quickly by these spearmen. And with the king healing them up, they can quickly just take a few easy pot shots and try to get another villager to go down. They have to be careful of these archers though, because they are going to destroy these spearmen pretty quickly. But the archer micro, absolutely perfectly done here by VortiX. And he goes in, he goes out, pulls back in, pulls back out. Consistently putting a level of aggression that I don't think Puppypaw was prepared for. The king soaking up quite a bit of damage as well. And the spearmen now fully committing, going forward, trying to just keep those horses back while the longbows are doing the work.
Yeah, losing this many units this early is just bad. And then the villagers too, keeping them hostage at the idle time, the constant porridge of men coming in. Like, that line's not stopping, it's still going in. So having to hold this off and then deal with more is scary, definitely scary. Oh, a tower coming up too. Okay.
This tower was originally planned, but I think the villager that was intending to go put it down did get killed. Oh. And just like that, that was a quick game for Mr. English over there. And that gives me a little bit of hope when it comes to the English gameplay. And remember how English was supposed to be regarded as the worst civilization? I don't think that counts on maps where the map is, or on any map that is pretty much tiny, which is what we saw here. So guys, the next one will be on Dry Arabia. And now you might be asking, why are we not looking at the statistics? Because we need to catch up. I let these players start their games during the final game between Beastie and Louis, and they, as we saw, the first game was pretty quick. So
yeah, that was instant. My goodness.
They definitely did not wait. Both of these players being very aggressive, they made it look quick. And we're already off to a strong start for VortiX. He says it worked before, It's gonna work again. VortiX, our Spanish Chad, making a beautiful little barracks in the base. Now, what I'd like to do when I see a barracks in this scenario, I like to see how this could potentially affect the opponent. Now, when I see the barracks here, I know that he's going to rally it right forward, and he's going to be running into a forward gold. This is also why he's scouting this aggressively. So, will he get the value? 100%. This is a very, very valuable men-at-arm that is going to be coming out of this. So, the spawn allows this to be a very good idea by VortiX. But if this gold was at the back here, we would have a very different conversation right now.
You know, it's also very unfortunate is both those goals are forward and right next to each other, as opposed to VortiX. He's got his goals next to each other, yeah, but they're in the back. So I'm a little bit scared for Puppypaw at the moment right now, especially since he's going against English. Tower rush with English is a very real thing and is a very scary thing.
Now, within this strategy, a lot of people don't even need to invest in the tower rush. A lot of people just say, hey, I'm going to give my men an army here. I'm going to deny some of their resources. I'm going to go get everything low and then go from there. But now we see with these villages, they gather quite well. So he already has almost just enough to be able to handle this. And usually we skip through the Dark Age, but today, apparently, we did not need to. We have a man-at-arm and we have some action.
Just got the gold that he needed to for age up, which is super, super nice. Now we won't have to worry about that for now.
So now...
that man-at-arms, though, I mean, it's a tricky thing to deal with when you're not, especially if you're not prepared for it. When you see that just coming out of nowhere, out of the fog of war, and you're sitting there not prepared for it, you're gonna be like, wait, what?
So when I'm looking at the scenario here, I see this chapel. Twitch chat, I know we love to do this, guys. Twitch chat, what do you rate the chapel, ladies and gents? Do we have a good rating for this chapelle from Puppy? Now, the thing is, whenever we get into a scenario where we're like, oh, I wouldn't have put my chapel like that, we all suck. And you guys, you suck too. Everyone here sucks. Drow sucks, I suck, we all suck. We're together. We're sucking all together. And that's great for us, because we get to learn from our things. So Puppy is doing this for a reason. And
Team trash.
He is most likely doing this for the reason of when those longbows eventually do arrive, if he attacks from here, he's cooked. If he attacks from here, and the chapel was on this side, he's cooked. He's extra cooked. But with the chapel in the middle, he has two sides that he can quickly rotate from. So that might not even be the reason, but the reason the chapel is here is most likely because it's safe, and it also will cover those deer when he starts to drop them at the back here. But talking about deer, let's stop yapping and look at the stone. Puppypaw is going for a second TC.
That is a really, really good move, especially with those forward Aachen Chapel. By the way, I like that Aachen Chapel Dassenbergen placement, just for the record. I mean, nobody asked, but I don't know. But anyways, but yeah. But I think that second TC is a freaking absolute stellar idea. Love it. Maybe he's doing it to get ahead as Order of the Dragon. Because I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I seldom see 2 TC Order of the Dragon. But again, I don't play it against them very often. So who am I? You know.
So the situation with Order of the Dragon is the reason 2 TC is not always a bad situation is because for them they don't really get punished because their units are pretty good. If they can out-sustain. And with English not going for any longbows or for the longbow landmark, he should have the time to get this up. And with that second TC, he's going to be able to secure the wood line pretty easily as well. Because now, if the longbows are parked here, they're not going to be able to snack on everything they see. So even though longbows are most likely part of the plan, as we now see, it's not going to be able to do the same level of damage that we usually see coming out of English. Because Order of the Dragon, they are chunky and they do take a little bit of a punch. But now we also have a pretty safe position where the chapel will inspire all these villages under the second TC as well. And there is a nice little spot for the farm. He did that for us, guys. That's for us.
Yeah, having that influence protected is quite nice, because even if you do have to transfer into farms, or even just whatever food you're bringing to the chapel, whatever you're doing with the chapel, it's super nice to have just protected by that second TC. That second TC isn't something to mess with, you know. That's going to take some resources to take down. Speaking of farms.
And he's instantly farm transitioning. So this already gives us that information that we are most likely not going to be able to see a castle shenanigan just yet, or even a professional scout shenanigan, because obviously we don't have the gold. Both golds are forward here. So Puppypaw might be committing here for a little bit longer into feudal. So I see Beastie has raided us. Thank you very much, Mr. Beastie Cutie. I've heard tales of the man who had won a tournament with Abbasid, but that is very prematurely. So guys, hoping that you enjoy the show. Beastie will be playing in the finals pretty soon. So pretty soon, I say. I just jinxed it. Oh no, we're gonna be here for 4 hours. Drow, are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Now the problem is, just like we said earlier, the longbows can harass, and he just did it from both sides. And I think that's the one thing I did not account for. The problem is Puppypaw now is stuck between a rock and an English. And honestly, I feel like rock, paper, scissors, English wins. Oh, the king is gonna go down, and this is the biggest pickup he could have imagined.
That was so sneaky.
This was pure confidence by VortiX. He thought that I was going to be safe. I can just keep doing this. These low HP villagers not all making it back to base, but the tower will go up, and this will be a little bit safer for a little while longer. Now, keeping in mind, these are Order of the Dragon villagers. If your villager count is even, that does not bode well for English. So if English does not do significant damage here, you are going to be in danger. Even though he did kill 2 villagers on 2 TC, that doesn't feel as painful.
That's almost, you could skip that back almost immediately. And now that he's got all of his, pretty much all of his resources secure, I guess the only thing he'd need to secure is that gold. But everything else is looking super, super nice. So I'd be surprised if VortiX was able to get any more damage done through here.
Now he does have this nice little angle. The TC will fire back, but these villages are susceptible to some danger. And now, with these archers, they're actually going to be able to push off most things that try to look at you even funny.
Yeah, those are the dragon archers, I tell you. Oh, man. They are carrying some gats, and they are not afraid to let everyone know and show them off. The golden gats.
I feel like VortiX here is now questioning himself and asking, like, what am I supposed to do? How do I do damage against this? Now, him towering the gold does deny the gold from Puppypaw completely, but it doesn't feel like Puppypaw is committed to getting this gold back at all. When you're committed to getting your gold back, you would feel Puppypaw's movements there already. Now, we did talk about the fact that he has double gold at the front here, but there is one to the back if all else fails. VortiX won't let that go unnoticed whatsoever. So, Puppypaw right now, he's just producing units. The villagers now, as I'm saying this and yapping, he pulls the villagers backwards, but they are going to be running into Frederick, scout of scouts, onto the deer. Which I am very happy that he didn't go into the gold, otherwise it would be even more wrong.
I was expecting it for a second. Oh no, not Pete. Wait, what was the name again? Not the scout.
Not the scout. Not the scout. No, I forgot his name already. I'm sorry.
He
had a short life.
Oh man.
Scout Frederick.
He does get away though. He gets to return to his family for now, until he returns, obviously.
Now the
couple of units coming in.
The numbers here, Drow. The numbers. When you see 14 longbows, you start to quake in your boots, right? But paired with a horseman, how do you feel about that?
Ooh, with no spearman on the other side, I'm happy. I'm a happy fella. I'm a happy Order of the Dragon player right there. But you start throwing spearmen at me, accompanied with those longbows, I'm back to shaking in my boots. I'm back to no way, no how. I'm back to my base. I'm not raiding. I'm staying in my base. Scared.
Now, these guys might not be as scared as we are in these situations, but when I see these villager numbers, I would be. Because as we can see right now, Puppypaw is ahead. And as Order of the Dragon, when you're ahead, you are ahead. So he definitely has a significant advantage here. And VortiX knows this. VortiX knows he needs to get this done, and he needs to get it done quickly. He's healing up his units as they're standing here at the back. We can see these rams getting some pseudo health. as they are being repaired by the King's aura, and the push will now begin. But the problem VortiX is facing right now is he's asking himself, where can I go to do damage? And he cannot go onto the gold, which would be the obvious choice. But getting into the woodline is fine. It's just going to start getting harder and harder because that Order of the Dragon army does not have a direct counter in your army.
And I still don't see any spearmen, unfortunately. So those horsemen are going to come in, and they are going to have a heyday. Also, Puppypaw is sending something crossover to VortiX, too, which is super nice in moments like this. Very distracting, especially when you're being pushed.
Now, see, and this is the difference between us and them, Drow. Them, they know. He's still raiding. He's not quaking in his base right now. He's like, it's fine. They're knocking at the front of my door, but brother, I've got this. I'm gonna raid. I'm gonna do some damage. Hell yeah. But the two rams, they're kind of scary. These guys gunning straight for the tower, and we see that emergency repair is nowhere close to getting ready for it. But honestly, those horsemen, they don't mind. They're just gonna go right through everything they can. The tower might go down, but this army from Puppypaw is nothing to be overcommitted on, and VortiX needs to be careful here.
Now denying that wood too, which is quite nice. He's got a good collection of it, anyways. But got back hunting. He's got back gold. Puppy's looking healthy, especially like you said, the 2 TC Order of the Dragon. My guy is happy as a clam right now. Although this got the VortiX putting on the pressure, he's able to just kind of kick back, defend until he's ready to move out again.
And this is now the hard part for VortiX. He's like, okay, I just took down the tower. It feels like I'm making progress, right? But with these guys, he's still focus firing on this side. And it feels like Puppypaw is migrating as much as he can to the left, trying to get as many resources as possible. And as I say this, oh, I was about to say, it looks like these guys were about to go flank themselves as well. But the archers, they are scary. And what I love to see here from Puppypaw is the fact that he got +1 range defense, because he knows this is a mass longbow army. I need to fight this, but I need to be careful. The singular spearman that was at the front here goes down. The other boys are trying to catch up, but the archers are going to destroy them in no time. And these horsemen barely take any damage.
Yeah, those horsemen will clean up those longbows right quick. But Puppypaw also losing those archers is quite gnarly. Guess he won't need them now. Ooh, King goes down. 1 man-at-arms hero Chad standing in... Oh, no, there's a second one. Okay, his ally decided to accompany them. That one Chad was standing alone in the midst of war. And that's... I mean, that's... I don't know about you guys, but that's some Chad-like behavior right there. Good on him.
He's taking control. Hell yeah.
He is. He's still alive! Oh.
And just like that, he calls it... That...
Wow.
So guys,
yeah.
Oh, no spears. The thing is, it's not just about the spears here. It was about the economic lead that they already had. Puppypaw was able to secure a victory here. And the thing is now, we're going into game 3 on mountain clearing. And both of these players have shown us they don't want to be here for a long time. They're just here for a good time. And the times have been good for us. But we'll see who the next time is good for, because it's Order of the Dragon versus English on mountain clearing. And I have never heard someone say, oh my gosh, I'm playing mountain clearing. I'm gonna go pick Order of the Dragon. Because that is not how we roll. We don't roll this way. We never roll this way. And guys, we're ready on the next map, which is going to be an English favorite, and China favorite as well, but no China on this one for us. The drafts have been drafted, and there's 1 civ per person. So, guys, let's get into our next round. Order of the Dragon, though, he's scouting. He's like, I need to see what's cooking, and apparently I've scouted exactly what's cooking. I'm seeing the boar, and this guy is about to get spit roasted. You can see these guys are going at him. Delicious.
Go for that boar initially is super, super nice as Order of the Dragon. You're just getting that immediate food. Not to mention you're taking away, because you obviously can't pro scout a boar. Thank goodness. Taking away the forward foods, so you don't have to worry about it getting harassed or whatever later. So that's quite nice.
So with the usual brother of Order of the Dragon, Archery was quite popular on this map for a while. I feel like the difference here is Order of the Dragon is very easy to punish. You get a civilization that the moment they get punished, it's really, really hard to come back from that. Especially because these villages are just worth so much more. So with a reaction from Puppypaw quite early on in the game, it could cost him a lot of villages pretty quickly. So VortiX needs to get this lead. He needs to eat this food that he's gotten for free, aka the boar, and not lose this advantage on the map that he has right now. Because this extends his food. He's got the deer in his base, he's got a lot of sheep, like everyone on Mountain Clearing. But now he's going for the normal 3 on gold, and we're going to be seeing what these boys are going to decide to age up with.
I actually just now realized I got them mixed up. English is blue. Yeah, my bad. All
it's
right.
okay. It's okay. We're all colorblind here today. Thanks for
I'm definitely colorblind. No, I'm not. No, it is nice though. We haven't seen any dark. This is the first game we haven't seen any Dark Age barracks. So just a nice normal start right into feudal. Mine work in Burggrave Palace going down.
Drow, do you know what this means? Do you see what I see?
He going castle?
It feels like it. It feels like he's not. I just feel like he needs a lot of gold. He needs it quickly. And I would say, yes, he's going castle. But is he going castle? Or is he just getting every single blacksmith upgrade out there and then going castle? So it feels like this is a very loaded question.
That would be interesting. Also, that evil council hall from VortiX right there, smack dab in the middle. Oof. What a way to assert your dominance. Like that's something right there.
The problem with this council hall is for both sides. So this council hall is aggressive. Those longbows, they're not going to have a lot of travel time. They get to run right up here to your woodline, which is honestly the most vulnerable place on this map for anyone. So the woodlines here definitely not protected by any TC, and with longbows, that is even harder. So this for VortiX is amazing as a position. But if Puppypaw manages to push this back, it is going to be very, very tough for Puppypaw to actually gain control. Oh, it's for VortiX to gain control of his council hall again. Now, I think VortiX should be able to do quite a bit of damage here. And Puppypaw right now, he's drowning in gold. I don't know if he's going to be making teeth. But these villagers, they're going to have the nicest teeth in all of the English land. Oh, the Order of the Dragon lands. Never mind. I was going to make a British joke here, but now we can't. Damn. This is unfortunate.
Well, they got those gold laces in their armor and their weapons, right? That's what it's for. That's okay. I can't also help but notice, I mean, he's done with the gold now, but I also can't help but notice, but you can sneak behind the tree lines. So you can be a sneaky boy behind the tree lines, too. That is upsetting.
Longbows love that. Horsemen love that. Everyone loves a good little sneak. And this is going to be a very, very quick castle age. You can see all the gold in the lands have been collected. The problem is, with these longbows, they're slowly going to do this bit of pressure. He still has the straggler trees around his TC, so he should be able to do pretty much okay with them. But this is all the gold he has. And he has to make something out of this. He has to make this work. So now my question is this going to be enough gold for him to actually punish the English for extending all the way into his base like this?
It is quite rude to just kind of throw your longbows in someone's base like this, especially with the resources being so far out. I mean, yeah, like you said, he's got his back golden stone, but then after that, then what? He's got to move out forward. He's got to, get an army. He's got to protect it. Possible tower, and that's just if he's not getting harassed. Oh, baby. Burggrave Palace.
And
okay.
we were saying yesterday while watching HRE, we were like, oof, I was so hungry. And he's given us the burger. We now have the burger, guys. The burger is coming in hot. We're going to have something to snack on. Ladies and gentlemen, we're also going to have our gold back to snack on because the longbows were just not in position here to deny it. But now it does look like with this Burggrave, he's going to be able to pretty much push this bad boy back and then start to clean up the rest, because English longbows are not that great at denying this. Now, with VortiX, he's also going for the castle age, right? But now we have to ask ourselves, what does VortiX need to do to beat Puppypaw in this matchup? Puppypaw now is going to get these units. He's going to be able to make units that longbows cannot deal with. But with the white tower, you basically have a very safe base. You have some wood lines to yourself. You are perfectly okay with this, but you just need to keep your opponent in their base for as long as possible. He needs to delay this burger push that could potentially be coming his way.
Oh yeah, and he's already back there trying to deny that gold. And that white tower, like you said, is going to be so nice in defending the resources that he's got in his base. So he'll guaranteed be able to, well, I mean, obviously hitting castle, but he'll be guaranteed be able to re-out the units that he needs against this crazy Order of the Dragon civ. These absolutely tanky units. Look at him. You know that man-at-arms is having a heyday with those longbows.
Man-at-arms just needs to catch up for these boys. We've seen 1.12 versus 1.12. They are both very slow units, so they will be running around, causing a little bit of idle time, which I think is probably best case scenario here. Now, with the mind work, we do see +1 upgrades for the range, so he just wanted to make sure he doesn't lose any of these. But now, he needs to be careful not to lose any of those crossbows he gets as well. These guys are not necessarily expensive, but they're hard to make because they only come out of the white tower for now. Now, the white tower has solidified the idea of us getting safe gold, safe wood lines, and it does give him a safe way to get into the later game. He can potentially, out of this, just go for second EC. He can just make a bunch of units. He can go raid Order of the Dragon. He can play the game that he wants to play, and Order of the Dragon is on a timer. They are on a timer of food. They've gone for the burger. They need to do some damage somehow. And getting the relics now is pretty much great. But on this map, you don't get all those free relics alongside it.
It would be really interesting if you were to claim that middle and start that sacred site victory. I didn't just now notice there's only one sacred site on this map, which is very interesting. Oh.
And I just realized I misspoke. The council hall also makes crossbows. Look at these crossbows. They're coming out from the front. That's why they're in danger's way. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I did make a mistake. There was a council hall. I haven't seen one of these in 600 years. But the longbow is causing a lot of idle time. Yet again, it's absolutely amazing that he's able to consistently provide this aggression even with just one singular longbow. And now, these men-at-arms, they've missed their timing. There's a lot of crossbows, and they make quick work of them. VortiX right now, you can see that army number just changing. The moment it kills something, it jumps. Now the relics, they're going to be very, very helpful, but it does not look like it is going to be enough of a lead here. VortiX doesn't need to TC, he doesn't need any magic, he just needs to play his game. Now, getting a horseman out of here to deal with those crossbows? Question is this going to be enough?
Yeah, and like you said, that food is dwindling. The farm transition between English is a lot smoother than it is for Order of the Dragon, especially without that Aachen. So if Puppypaw doesn't do something vital at the moment, I fear the worst. Especially this crossbow count, it's climbing and it's unforgiving after a while. Yeah, you can throw some horsemen at it, but that's just as easily countered by spears and. Well, Puppypaw, or excuse me, VortiX has got he's got a nice little eco going, got a nice little eco lead going.
Now the thing is, I always have this saying, and I know on a pro level this is completely incorrect, but archers or crossbows don't counter horsemen, but 60 archers do. So I feel the same way about this. If you get a bunch of horsemen here, it's fine. With the amount of units he has here, he has more than enough to handle what Puppy was throwing at him. And you guys can see, these units going down, gilded men-at-arms, they're not cheap. These are not normal men-at-arms. These aren't the men-at-arms you willingly throw away into the eco line. These are the type of men-at-arms that you cry about when you realize how much money you've wasted on an investment. So now, we are at a point where we're seeing, okay, Puppypaw doesn't really know what he transitions into from here. He's getting Lunchknechter because now he needs to try and get on top of these units to do something. But this is VortiX's game to win, and it's Puppypaw's to respond.
And that sacred site has been captured, and that timer is a ticking. There is a couple of deer outside of VortiX's base right there, but I mean, really not enough to, sustain, obviously. So getting those. Oh, speaking of, I was just about to mention the farms. It's going to be super vital. Looks like VortiX is already on the ball, though. He's ready for that transition. He's ready to start pumping out them units.
So when you're in a situation with the white tower here, you're very prone to making farms in a position where you won't get raided. I feel like VortiX is confident enough to put his farms on this side already because he's the one being the aggressor. And as long as you're the guy being aggressive, you're not too worried about your opponent being inside here. Because a lot of people, they'll just put them directly under the white tower to make sure that even when he does get raided, he can easily garrison in there. These guys still relatively safe. And now with Wheelbarrow, they're going to be able to run away even faster. But like I said, I don't feel like he's running away anytime soon. Right now, it's Puppypaw who needs to make a plan. And it doesn't feel like there's any plan he could make right now. These guys, he might have 3 relics, but this tower is just protecting these little berry patches for now. For how long? Until the game really goes on its head. There's a sacred site timer ticking and it's 7 minutes. But neither of these players look like they're in a rush to do anything.
I'm kind of surprised that we don't see a keep drop in the middle. That'd be kind of cool too. I did spot a mangonel though from Puppypaw, and a couple of sweet shots from a mangonel can definitely change the tides. So hopefully we get some sweet shots from Puppy.
Puppypaw needs to get a few sweet shots to make this game last a little bit longer because it's at 6 minutes now, ladies and gents. It's getting closer and closer.
Puppypaw moving out now. I think he's just as hungry for those shots as everybody else. I mean, mangonels, of course, they're nowhere near their former glory, but that doesn't mean that you can't sink some sweet 3-pointers with those, all right?
Well, the last patch really fixed them as well. They used to be something people were like, oh, okay, I can just dodge these for days. But now they do a pretty decent job at keeping you at bay and making you respect the air shots. Usually, when there are rocks coming at your head, you do duck. So it doesn't look like VortiX ducks. He just runs right at those rock throwers. And he's like, hey, I know what you suck at. And that's close combat. Let me go deal with that. Now, they do get a shot off and only hit a few of them.
Nice.
Yeah,
Spearmen are not wasting any time. They're going straight for the mangle. Not wasting any time. Just one goes down. Nice. That second one's going to go down easy. You could just target that with his range units and then down they go. That army's going to be close to follow too.
Now that's the one thing about mangonels that's also really nice. You can get on top of them, and once you're on top of them, they're going to stop firing. And that's exactly what he did here. He was just like, I am just going to keep killing units around you, and then I'll surround you. And then what? Now that was a very huge investment here, and we can see VortiX, the destroyed value is already 3k resources more than it is for Puppypaw. So at the moment, it doesn't look like Puppypaw has the ability to make anything that can stop this army. VortiX is a man who knows how to micro. He knows how to move in. He knows how to move out. He's going to be able to do this perfectly fine.
Oh yeah, and that sacred site's now at 4:30, and with no food from Puppypaw, I fear. Another mangonel though. He's still pumping out some units, but I don't know at the rate at which he is right now. I don't know if it's going to be enough to take that middle side. Up goes that outpost to give him that sweet buff too.
Puppypaw right now just has enough food to consistently produce villagers. We see he has 3 on food at the moment. Honestly, my biggest question is, where are they? Because I'm trying to find the villagers on food, and I'm just not sure where they are. So the villagers...
Oh, it's the houses, the local villages that have farms.
They're right here. They're hiding under the boys. So they're just getting enough to get a little bit of villager production going. But at the same time, VortiX says, you can go and try fight me at the bottom. I actually have a plan. And the plan is to go and hit you where it hurts. The thing is, there is vision on this. Puppypaw is very aware of where these units are going. And he realizes, I have to defend both sides. I have to be able to go and decap the sacred site. And at the same time, I need to go up here. So this is just delaying Puppypaw even more and causing him to feel a little bit overwhelmed. The only reason we're seeing this many siege is because there's some food to make any other units with.
And he's just about out of gold too. He's gonna have to move out for that. So not only is he out of food, he's about out of gold. That woodline won't last forever. Although he's got a continent of a woodline next to him, so I think he'll be fine there. Moving in, Puppypaw, ready to try to take that middle, though. Let's see what he can do. 3 outposts up and a sizable army by VortiX.
Now, VortiX does have a lot of men-at-arms between all of this as well. And they don't do too well against the Landsknechte, but they do really well against surviving those springald shots and getting on top of them. The army does pull back, but it does feel like the English army, with their beautiful glowing inspiration, they are just ready to get on top.
Beautiful army movement too by VortiX. How satisfying is that to watch? That siege is just going down, 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 and GG's.
Puppypaw, not able to allow VortiX to actually get stopped. I feel like Order of the Dragon, they are usually pretty good on, I wouldn't say pretty good, but they're good on this map. Not as what we just saw them. I don't really know how to say this at the moment. It feels like Puppypaw is in a tough situation, and he tried to make something work with the men-at-arms. He tried to get the burger going. And honestly, the burger is not necessarily worse than the Regnus Cathedral, because with the Regnus Cathedral, you're in a situation where the cathedral gives you double gold, but the units are so much cheaper coming out of the burger. The problem is just missing that timing. Now, guys, we have caught up with the players finally. We've caught them in Prairie. And ladies and gentlemen, we're finally going to the live game between these guys because they made those first few so fast. So, Puppypaw versus VortiX, game 4. Now, Prairie. This is a map everyone knows, right?
Yeah. I am not a fan of this map. Those wood lines anger me.
What is your main civilization?
I play. Well, okay, hang on. So my main civilization was Byzantine, but I've been branching out. Your boy's been branching out.
Okay.
Recently, I've been playing a lot of China, and I like Abbasid too. I've been liking Abbasid too. Very comfy civs. Japan's also very comfy.
Okay, Twitch chat. What about you guys? It seems like we have another person here who says worst map. Don't shoot. Why are we hating on this poor map? Are you an English mainer? Is this the finals? No, this is the semi-finals. We still have finals after this. Yes, is my voice going to die? Indeed. But we are here for the long run. Remove this map? Guys, I am going to look into my crystal ball and I'm going to say, none of you play night civilizations. None of you raid people.
Not only do I not play night civilizations, I despise them.
Okay, well.
Unless they're on my team, then I'm good.
Okay. So that's usually why people don't like Prairie, because they're very susceptible to being raided. As a Prairie vetoer myself, I don't necessarily enjoy Prairie, but I think that it's a very good map for good players. So if you're able to multitask, Prairie is definitely the map for you to be able to overwhelm your opponent, because there's just so many open spots to raid them. Where are you going to put those walls? You can try, but I will get right in there. Very nice. But it doesn't matter. These guys, they are the kind of guys who raid each other no matter what. You can be inside their base, they're still going to be raiding. English, a civ who's very, very reliant on those woodlines, especially for the farm transition. They like to sit in their base. They like to outlast their opponents. But Order of the Dragon, they could also benefit from having a pretty solid woodline, especially if you can get those farms going, a few towers. But I'm expecting to see a lot of horse action here from these boys.
I'm expecting it and hoping for it. We've already seen the king coming out, or I guess the Abbey of Kings going down for VortiX. So you know that king's coming out already. Got some night action there. Hopefully, with that Aachen Chapeldassen Bergen placement. Because it is, like you said, only on one little tiny wood line, and that's bloody, and that is kind of unfortunate. But he does have it next to his TC, and it is safe, so that's quite nice.
Now, what I actually, one of my biggest goals with this tournament was to actually just watch these top players play these civilizations over and over again until they figure out the meta, so that we can learn what is the best way to go about this. And VortiX has consistently chosen one way. Get the king, 2 on gold, and keep making longbows. get that early pressure onto your opponent and try to get some work done with him. Puppypaw, on the other hand, he has been a little bit more diverse. He's gone for the might work, he's gone for the chapel. He says there's still some diversity in my civilization. So we'll see how this works out for VortiX, especially in a matchup that people say is very Order of the Dragon favored. So we'll see if VortiX agrees with that, or if VortiX is going to be showing us what is right and wrong in this case. A lot of longbows coming though.
Yeah, normally I would also say that this was Order of the Dragon favorite as well, but Order of the Dragon likes to, well, at least some Order of the Dragon players like to move out for food, or at the very least go for pro scouts, and that can still be denied because although it is, an open map and night civ favored, it is still an open map for every player. It's night civ regardless. So having to move out is risky no matter what on this map.
Now, I want you to notice what Puppypaw has learned from previous mistakes. He's like, I realize those longbows are going to be pesky, so I need to probably move my units, get a tower, and not be cocky about, my positioning. So he gets the upgrades instantly. He's learned from previous matchups, and they actually get to figure out how to play this properly. So guys, I want you to notice the sheep though. Let me just quickly switch players. That's 31 sheep this man had. So Puppypaw doesn't mind sitting under his base here for a while. The problem is those longbows are going to be really annoying because these guys can just focus from the other side. It doesn't matter that they have a tower in the way. You're gonna need so many towers against him. So yes, is English annoying to not have wood? Yes, but what happens if you are the aggressor and you are the one dictating the pace of the game?
A whole different ball game then. Whole different ball game. And then having to constantly, do your eco and have to rely on what you need and having to worry about your villagers not dying to longbows is a pain in the neck. And all while this is going on, VortiX has got all of his stuff in his base unharassed. He doesn't even have to worry about it. So having this pressure is absolutely major and a huge, huge headache, I imagine.
Aliona, thank you very much for the raid. Appreciate it. Guys, we're in the second semi-final of VortiX versus Puppypaw, and we are doing the one-trick pony event. These guys only play one civilization all the way until the end, and now we'll see who the master of the one civ is. Which civilization is the most busted, or which player is the most busted? The question we will answer after this event. Now, with the amount of sheep we have here, this allows Puppypaw to deal with the amount of longbows he has here. If you have 2 horsemen, dealing with this amount of longbows, you don't even mind that with normal horsemen. But Order of the Dragon horsemen, that's even less of a concern. So these guys flanking them even, Puppypaw definitely picking up a pretty sizable amount of units here. And this is how English loses games. The moment English does this, where they lose a chunk of their army, things snowball from there on out. Now Puppypaw is in the driving seat. Now Puppypaw gets to go for Fast Castle without being punished, but he decides not to. He says, I have 300 gold, that's more than enough. Let me keep making units. Maybe he's...
That is an interesting choice.
I'm not sure if this is Miss Macro, or if this is just someone cooking, because look at all that wood he has in his hands. He's doing something, and I don't think either of us can predict what it is. These guys, you can see he's floating 1,200 food right now, and he is just getting more and more wood behind this. So getting all this wood, getting a second TC as well, is going to be amazing. But I guess he's just keeping that food ready so that he can keep making units when the time presents. Now he has got enough to get that second TC. We saw how strong a second TC can be for Order of the Dragon, and let's see if he can actually make this work.
There it is, right on the gold too. Boom, baby. That'll definitely guarantee his gold. Oh, never mind. Oh yeah, there it is. Oh, okay. Defending the gold and slightly protecting that influence too. Always aces that. Is there a little woodline? No, it's a little woodline over there. Okay. So this next woodline is truly like a travel away. It's a fortnight away, huh?
Yeah, the problem is now with the woodline being so far away, you're going to run into the issue of, hey, where am I going to get my next safe wood from? He's got a little bit of wood in the bank. He's got enough to survive, but the problem is getting production buildings behind this as well. And he's getting men-at-arms too. So now, behind all of this, we see that these guys are definitely learning from previous mistakes and learning from previous things that went right. With the men-at-arms here, we now have units that can deal with most things coming his way. With the TC on gold, he took away from his first game where he absolutely obliterated his opponent by having that second TC. These guys are taking quite a bit of shots without being punished for it.
Yeah, and VortiX has got those blacksmith upgrades too, which give them that little bit of extra oomph too when they're taking shots at those or the dragon.
He goes for the burger. Anyway, okay.
I blink.
See, this is one of the things that when I was talking about the production here, especially, I was considering the fact that most people go for the chapel, and the burger definitely, like we said, it still doesn't mean it's much worse or even worse at all, because it does give that huge discount on units. And what I absolutely love about this, he started aging up and he pulled off a few of the villages. He's like, I actually don't need to rush this. I have time. But then he puts a few more on because he realizes, I want it now, I need it now, and English is coming right now. So Puppypaw, he's getting ready for a massive push, getting the blacksmith as well. He needs to make units and he needs to survive this push because VortiX has a lot of units on the line here. Now getting the double ram is definitely going to help him, but we saw how this worked for him in game 1. He definitely struggled to actually close this out.
And Puppypaw will be entering the new age with loads of sheep, his gold secure. He'll be able to start pumping out units in no time. He's already got a couple right there to defend, not to mention plenty of villagers to help take down those rams. So, honestly, I think Puppypaw's still in a pretty good position.
Puppypaw is it's not all lost. Puppypaw now has a few idle villages inside of here, but this gives him time to wait and get the upgrades. What I want you guys to notice is he's now going to be able to get the emergency repair on this without too much weight. The thing is, those units are taking a lot of damage. The longbow's perfectly target firing, everything going his way, and I feel like I'm going to take this build from VortiX and I'm going to apply it to every single game of mine, because this seems to be the way to actually deal with these insane pushes. Puppypaw now, he has those 8 idle villagers inside the TC, so that lead that he has is not too impressive, but now we can see the longbows target firing everything, but all of a sudden they do a lot less damage.
That upgrade coming in was it's quite nice, and it's amazing to think that was only the first upgrade too. That will definitely help. Although it's not gonna, not gonna not take damage from it. TC already going down. Ooh, nice back goal too, and of course this outpost is definitely gonna go down too. Ooh, it looks like he spotted that back gold. Uh-oh.
Now the big play here that he's making is he's getting the Gilded Knight, and the Gilded Knight is going to be key in destroying this because these were the last villagers that are going to be able to get some gold in this moment. Now the thing is that Gilded Knight is pop capped at the moment because of what is happening here. The pop cap definitely played its role. You can see now this was blocked for such a long time. If that pop cap wasn't there, just the ram pushing on top of the houses made this such a good play by him, and he's able to actually capitalize on this so well. Man-at-Arms though, trying to cut off the reinforcements, and at the same time we can see he's just desperately trying to get a little bit of resources. And the second TC, while holding up, we don't know how long this is going to keep staying alive. I mean, the second TC is down, but the food is now depleted. Things are slowly falling apart.
Yeah, I was confident literally 30 seconds ago. Now I am slightly less confident, especially now that he's got to move. He's got to move out into the map, and VortiX has got complete map control. Plus, he's in his base. Plus, he's taking down production and causing idle time. Yeah, this looks like a sad time. Being pop blocked in situations like this is the absolute worst.
The problem here is as well, the English is now fully transitioned into farms, and it looks like VortiX is pretty confidently sitting here in feudal and just pumping out units. He says, okay, I just need enough longbows to actually handle this, and while they're not doing a lot of damage, 2 damage at a time is still enough for him. The Rams keeping this production at bay, and behind this it seems like he is transitioning into more farms, I would say, with 17 on wood behind this.
At least it'd be safe, though. I mean, They are slightly forward, and he has built a lot of buildings on. He's been forced to build some buildings on his farms, but VortiX over here looking nice, clean, and healthy. Beautifully placed farms. Eco looking untouched. Great push.
And even though he's going to be able to technically outrank these units here, VortiX is going to be able to slowly think about how do I get to castle, and the answer is how do I get to castle? I just pull a few villages off here, make another set of farms, and then we'll see what happens. And all of a sudden, the English matchup that people were telling me is completely favored into the side of Order of the Dragon, this is going to go in VortiX's favor again. Now, keeping in mind, Puppypaw is ahead in villagers. Technically, the numbers say no, but he still has more effective economy on the field. The problem is they're just not effective right now. There's no farms, there's no resources he can just safely go on. He's just trying to delay this as much as possible so that he can come again and push even harder. Now, we're almost ready for the age up, and let's go see what he goes for. I would not be surprised if this is just your standard white tower to protect those farms, because the counter push is coming, and that is exactly what he chooses to go with. Especially with 15, he needs this now.
Oh yeah, and as soon as he spits that down, he'll be protected, have plenty of time to remass, reinforce, and push back out again. Definitely will have that eco lead due to the farms, English farms even, and not to mention he's got all of his gold secure, as opposed to Puppypaw, who's had his pressured. Right now he's got it secure, but it is still out there in the open, ready to be raided, potentially.
Now, Puppypaw's army does look quite scary. We see with the amount of men-at-arms here, this is quite questionable, and this is the weakest point VortiX will be at. The one moment where he has to garrison all his villages and deal with the boys coming to the front of his base. But that's not going to last for long. He's quickly going to switch over to crossbows. We see 6 in queue already. The man is not waiting for much. He realizes, hey, White Tower scares off most people, and that it does.
Oh yeah, that White Tower will scare off the strong. I don't care how strong you think you are. You headed there with a big old army, feudal. You see that White Tower, you're turning back around. You're turning tail. I don't want to see it. You don't want to see it. It's terrible. But I do like that position. I'm nice and forward, and going to be just absolutely fantastic for guarding. And it literally sent Puppypaw, pun not intended, tail between legs.
He's trying to heal up these units, these very, very expensive units at that, and he's getting his archer upgrades behind this as well. Now, with the Gilded Archers, you're definitely putting yourself in a pretty nice position with them, because they deal with most units that come your way, and especially with crossbows. So, all the units on VortiX's side against archers, they should be perfectly okay. And as I say this, he decides to not go for more archers, he decides to go for crossbows. So, never mind, I have cursed it. Apologies for the cursing. Did not mean to spew any curses onto this game, but apparently crossbows are the way forward instead.
I mean, I like me a good old crossbow mass, especially against Order of the Dragon, just to see them sink, just to see those hit points go down, because you're so used to it going down like 1 point at a time, and just to suddenly see it melt like that, it's like, okay, I guess they're not invincible, the units.
Who would have thought Order of the Dragon can actually be killed? Wow.
What?
Now, Puppy is playing safe, and I can see the Twitch chat pointing that out as well. He's definitely playing safe, but I think this is more a matter of, I don't know when that English army is about to attack me. If we look at Puppy's vision, he does have a little knight going out now, but until now, he's been waiting in his base for that next attack, for the next blow coming to his face. And this, honestly, is scary as Order of the Dragon. You're always worried what's happening, because if you move out and you lose these expensive units, what then? So, I think this is definitely a really good mind game here by VortiX, but looking on the other side, VortiX also doesn't have a lot of map vision. He's also just living off what's in front of him. He feels confident enough that he can just keep going and push from here. Those are men-at-arms. They don't do too well against what is in this army, but the archers behind it, we'll see what they do in a moment.
Yeah, I think... I don't know if Puppypaw... Well, I'm sure he expected the crossbows, but maybe just not them at that rate. That seemed like almost instantaneous, those crossbows coming out. My goodness.
It feels
and there's
like
a good count of them, too.
There's a lot of them. That's the problem here. It's so many crossbows that you very often just cannot respond to this amount. You're getting your archers on your side now, and that is most likely because you're like, oh, I need to target fire these bad boys, otherwise my men-at-arms are going to look like paper mache men-at-arms. So, paper mache at arms, not going to be ideal when you're playing in a game like this. So, will this push be the one, or is Puppypaw actually going to be able to overwhelm him? Because still, 19 men-at-arms, even against those amounts of crossbows, it's pretty scary.
Oh yeah, just like you said earlier, an outmass is an outmass. I don't care how you stir it. So, especially when it's an Order Dragon outmass, because if you're looking at an Order Dragon army and it's bigger than yours, well, you might be a little bit sad at that point. And those spearmen definitely aren't looking too happy against those man-at-arms. Luckily though, the beautiful micro by VortiX, which is just insane to watch by the way, is keeping his army somewhat at bay.
And it feels like now with the army overwhelming, as you can see, the archers are trying their best, the longbows are trying their best to get rid of the archers at the back here. But this is a very good fight here for Puppypaw. And this is the problem. When VortiX pulled back and he edged up and couldn't push out right after, it just meant that Puppypaw had the opportunity to get those villagers to pump a little bit harder, get that little bit of a food transition, and try to gain a little bit of control on the map. The food now running out there at the bottom too, but even then, he does have a little bit of wood in the bank to start making new plans, and the new plans is going for external food sources still.
And now he doesn't have to worry about, well, he still got to worry about moving out, I suppose, but not as much now that he's got a decent-sized army. Plus, he's got some farms on the Alkin, which is super comfortable. Nice little flank, too, from here. My goodness, those flanks just come out of nowhere, too.
Now, Order of the Dragon is slowly starting to feel like they're in control of this. And I saw that these guys are over on wood here. And this kind of makes me feel like he wants to go back to getting that second TC. He knows that he got quite a bit of villagers. And instead of running into the White Tower, the man realizes, hey, I could just not run into the White Tower. And rather run into the side with no White Tower. This White Tower at the front doing work to protect this side, but on this side it's starting to look a little bit messy. But at the same time, you have to consider these guys are going to be quite expensive to lose, and there's a lot of units he could lose here. There's a lot of idle time coming out of VortiX now. We see 14 idle from VortiX, and even if he loses this whole army, I don't know if it was worth it here. Men-at-arms just focus firing on the TC, and the TC staying alive, so I don't think he got what he needed from that fight.
He lost quite a bit during that. I was hoping that maybe that TC would at least go down, but behind it he was able to get sacred sites. I wasn't actually looking, so I didn't see if he snagged all the relics. I'm sure they were already snagged by now, but he was cooking behind it, and that second TC, boom baby.
Getting those sacred sites is going to give him that little bit of a boost in the gold that he already had. But, you know, in Order of the Dragon, once they get control of the map, it's so easy to put down a tower, reinforce that thing, and make it even harder. Now, the crossbows here from VortiX, we can see the supply does not lie, and clearly the supply is telling us Puppypaw is in the lead here. These guys are trying their best to one-shot the men-at-arms, but they are barely doing 3/4 of their health before the archers reaches them.
Yeah, those archers are going to mow them down because the attack speed is so crazy. Luckily, he's got some archers of his own, and some VortiX has got some archers of his own, and some men-at-arms to try to take them down, but they aren't going down without a fight. Not to mention, those men-at-arms running rampage around the base still that's something you got to take care of. It's not something light either, not something you can just throw spears at, of course. You've got to invest in that.
Now, VortiX behind this, he had the lead. He was in a very commanding position, but I felt like after he had the lead, he didn't capitalize on it, and he let Order of the Dragon do what they do best. Sit back, relax, and transition into the late game. The Burggrave now giving you those very discounted Lunchknecht. It's just allowing for basically more value than all of those relics he could have gathered altogether. Now, with the mill here at the front, you're starting to see the mill placement being around the White Tower, and that's usually when, you know, I need to get my farms pretty safe. But again, there's no transition from here, and the villager count is pretty much even. So this is going to start getting scarier and scarier for VortiX.
Yeah, and still no walls from VortiX either, so those farms are completely exposed. I don't know if he's planning on putting the Berkey back there or what, but I fear for those farms. I'm sure they'll be all right, but big old army from Puppypaw. It's just massing. It's getting bigger. It's getting more valuable, and he's getting closer to him. Well, actually, both players are.
Both of these
In
players
fact,
are
here
finding
it
their
is.
way towards Imp. And I see now with the Berkshire coming down, he's probably... Now, this is the Berkshire you shouldn't be worried about. So, with this Berkshire, you know this is defensive. You know this is a Berkshire out of desperation, out of keeping your base a little safe and slowly pushing out. Berkshires are usually used to gain map control, secure big resources. This is just a Berkshire to make sure I don't die right now as I age up. So, with Puppypaw getting a lot of units on the map, almost being 200 pop, this Berkshire is going to allow him to slowly push out, but we saw that Puppypaw has learned from this. He's not going to go into where your defensive buildings are. He's going to go around and go to the buildings where he can actually do some damage.
Yeah, and the fact that it's almost right next to the White Tower. Yeah, like you said again, you get that your front is super defensive, but your flank is looking sad. Not to mention Puppypaw also going to Elsbeck, pretty much the same thing as VortiX.
Now, this one is also in a way protecting the Arcane Chapel. Not completely, of course, but it is also just the safe one. It's the safe push, that where you know you're in the lead and you don't need to throw anything. So I feel like the feelings behind each of these are very, very different. So the Elsbach here, I don't want to throw my villagers forward. I know I'm in the lead. I know I have the time. I just need to take my time and push. So Puppy could just cross the map, go into this side and end it at this point, because there's nothing protecting VortiX from a push. But VortiX has nowhere where he could do that. He could potentially try to go here, but what is he going to run into? He could potentially...
No man's land.
Exactly. He's going to potentially run into the back here and deny some wood. But then this Elsbach is just going to be like, hey, I can just get wood over here. And English trying to capitalize on every resource he has at the front here, but it's going to be quite tough. Now, we do see a little bit of an alarm coming through for a fight, but it does look like both of these players are sitting back, but for different reasons. Puppypaw, getting that resource bank, trying to get better units. Gilded Hand Cannoneer is now coming in. So, VortiX just hoping that he can make it to the late game and try to make enough units to reach max pop.
Yeah, late game for Or Dragon can be scary due to the outmass, but nothing a couple of mangonels can't finish. Ooh, a little raid back there into the farms too from Puppypaw. He's trying to take some farm choppers down. Same pushing at the front line too. Oh, I guess he's not. Never mind. I'm sorry. Yeah, nice little sneaky raid though from Puppypaw.
It just causes a lot of idle time even then. He's completely overwhelmed VortiX, so much that VortiX has forgotten to get his enclosures, which is usually the upgrade people get first. So this is also why people usually put that defensive building between the farms, between the main economy, because it does allow for you to actually go out on the map without fearing for your life that your villagers are all going to die. Now, this is probably the best chance that VortiX has at taking a fight, because I was saying that because I thought the whole army was together, but no. They are split up, and it is still pretty scary. And now, we do see some Sacred Site captured here from VortiX.
Nice, taking those sacred sites to add in a little extra gold income to his bank, and chasing away Puppypaw. He's got to be feeling pretty good about that. Although being raided never feels bad. I mean, being raided sucks. Pushing back though, Puppypaw, and being able to get those upgrades in, get your eco back going on, maybe getting some production going on. That's quite nice.
Now, right now it feels like a game of cat and mouse. We try to see where our opponent is going and we try to follow up. Now look at these little raids that might be happening from Puppypaw. He's just constantly trying to go around because he doesn't need to be worried. There's a King's Palace or a White Tower, but it's all the way over there. And finally, Network of Citadels will also join the party and the English army will feel truly inspired.
Yeah. I'm fudge. I guess if I'm either surprised that VortiX doesn't, of course, have a wall, but I'm also kind of surprised. Maybe he put a keep back there with his farms. I'm still kind of worried about those farm droppers back there. They're
They
over there working their butts off.
they are, and they're working unprotected. There's no labor laws helping these guys survive.
Oh man, and the gold's. Oh no, he's got that back gold too. Okay, so that's quite nice.
Now you will be able to clean this up, but at the same time, there's another raid here, and the big army is at the frontier. Right now, it might look pretty even, but this is still a pretty iffy situation for VortiX. He doesn't have the resource bank that Puppypaw has, but, you know, anything can happen. VortiX can take this game, Puppypaw can sit back and let the English farm economy talk for itself, and that could possibly put it into a little bit of a longer game for us here. But now, the longbows are trying their best. They're trying to snipe as many as they can. And they do. They need to, because there's a lot of launch connector here. And you guys know what happens if those launch connector connect. That is going to be a destruction once they get the opportunity to.
Game over. Those things smack like a truck. And there was a good portion of them. And it's really hard to click them, and especially when, you know, that little glow kind of hides their armor, and it's kind of hard to. It's really difficult to kind of pin them out sometimes. So. Some of them can't, like you can see, as you can see, some of them can sneak through and get them big old shots. That's an insanely good hold by VortiX, though. My goodness, just kind of sending them back home. Nice, massive range. You gotta love those arrows flying through the air, man. And he's keeping consistent with the raids on the left, on the right, on the left. I know my directions, left side too.
Now with his horses, he's going to be able to do a little bit of raiding here, but it does look like VortiX has stabilized a bit. And it is still no enclosures for him. I don't know if he just doesn't feel like it's worth it at this point. He is struggling a little bit for gold, and it is the free resources we're beginning from, but it might just be because he is getting raided. He's constantly needing to react to this. And these guys, this is a pretty scary army, but VortiX is doing really good work cleaning this up.
Taking down those, being sure to take down those parallel. Oh, scary horsemen coming in though, and those would definitely be bad news bears for the. Oh, those are our longbows. Excuse me. It's still bad news bears for the longbows too, though. Down they go. Palings going down to try to do his max damage, but of course those men-at-arms behind them are just gonna ignore those palings, walk right on by them, maybe even use the palings. I don't know how they go.
I feel like I should send an apology to VortiX because I said he has stabilized. And as I said that, all his units died. So this might be on me. Guys, I'm so sorry for making VortiX lose this game.
That's the second curse.
That's the second
in one
curse.
game. Wow.
So machine cannoneers coming through. They are doing absolutely amazing work. Absolutely cleaning up everything. This singular one at the back still alive. Look at that guy just going at everything here at the back. And these guys, they're like, oh, remember how you don't have a protective building here? We're just going to keep pushing that, actually.
Over and over and over. Yeah, no, that's. I mean, don't get me wrong though. VortiX is doing a fantastic job defending. I don't know how he's been able to defend left, right, center, defend across the map. He's defending Puppypaw's base at one point. I don't know how he does it. It's crazy. I swear these guys have like 13 arms when they start playing.
And they have 13 arms and probably 20 brains as those hand cannoneers transition. Just makes this look so easy for him. They make units disappear. Those are actually magicians. They're not hand cannoneers. They just like make things disappear into thin air. Look at that. Pop. Gone.
A whole new meaning to smoke and mirrors.
Oh, look at that.
The gold, of course, being the mirrors. Dang, they're just mowing them down. The White Tower's coming in and helping a little bit. They don't care. They just don't care.
I see a big question in the chat. How many legs do they have? They might not have 4 legs, but 2 legs are enough when you have golden guns. I want to see a little bit more while we're very deep into this game. It looks like they're running around with like Harry Potter like brooms, but the version of it doesn't seem to be like a barrel or anything for these things.
I'm never gonna be able to unsee that now. Those are now permanently brooms to me. They're just going sweeping the battlefield.
Yeah, honestly, where's my ammo? Where's my armor? Let me just see. Crossbows, those make a lot of sense, but hand cannoneers? Do we even have a firing place? Where do I shoot them from? My goodness.
I don't know. Maybe it's just for show when they shoot out of their hands. I don't know.
Yeah, there we go. It's like Spider-Man, basically.
Yeah, yep.
Spooderkneers. But you can see VortiX is using this market as much as possible. And do we get an enclosures? Not yet. He says, I need silk bowstrings. I'm gonna get silk bowstrings, and that he shall. Berkshire here doesn't have boiling oil, so these guys are gonna stand in melee range and just fire away.
Even the hand cannons are taken in. They're like, "Oh, give me some of that. I'm down.
Yeah,
I'll shoot a castle. I don't care."
Those guns making magic happen. Villagers pull to repair it. The archers are trying their best, but hand cannoneers are making everything melt. Berkshire doesn't have a lot of firepower without the emplacements.
Not nobody's garrisoning it. It's a sad Berkshire. Just like these are. I mean, I think that's so sad villagers too. Could you imagine just fearing for your life every day? Am I gonna get raided? I'm just a farm boy. I just want to be a farm shop. Oh, and the wood boy's in the back too. I didn't even see that.
Okay, now the question is English hand cannoneers, guys. Let me just go see that one. That guy also doesn't have anywhere to fire from. It's just a broom. It's a broom with a nozzle.
That's a lower class broom now.
Did I just press a button? Oh no, I pressed the button, I made it red. Ladies and gents,
that tripped me out. I was like, why are they red?
It's for all the colorblind people, just to ensure you can see this final fight in the game. Sacred Side timer approaching now. Hand cannoneers doing the disappearing magic tricks. And me thinking how I'm going to fix this button that I pressed. And putting us in a situation where our teal horses are now red. Beautiful. They're firing a lot of fire arrows though.
Yeah, I mean those hurt. But again, I mean, Order the Dragon, you know, they're used to all that fire. Oh, nice. There we go.
We fixed it. Just in time, ladies and gents. We did it! Woo! So Puppypaw, evening it out. Puppypaw says, Order of the Dent. It's in the name. I'm going to be denting you in. Good luck, have fun. And honestly, it looked good for VortiX for a while there. When he took down that second TC, I felt like he fell back to his base. And he didn't punish the fact that Puppypaw ran out of food. And that was the issue for that transition into the late game. Because Order of the Dragon gets really scary the longer we go. And we can see the story was told of the big army that got caught by a bunch of horsemen, and then everything went downhill. So
the Great War of Gats. Wait, no, that wasn't quite the Gats, I don't think. Maybe it was.
So I was actually hearing that they're going to be doing their redraft now. So guys, are you ready to see? Oh! I need to press the button. Sorry, my professional production abilities are leaving a lot to be desired. But guys, oh my gosh, they finished their redraft, and we can see what the next civilizations are going to be. Drew, are you seeing these pics?
I have not seen the pics.
Wow. No, it's
I couldn't possibly predict what it was, though.
No, it's Order of the Dragon in English. Who would have thought, guys?
What? Nah,
wow.
You're lying.
What can I say? Brought to you by the One Trick Pony. The place where the ponies shine. I don't know. That depends. I honestly thought that people like Core, who does really well on ladder, that he was going to be able to clap cheeks here. Even he had a favorite matchup, but he was against VortiX. And I don't think any matchup gives you is favored when it's against someone like VortiX. But we do have our next map, Kurlager. I love the name.
Your life either way, then.
Now, Kurlager is an interesting one because Kurlager is like is a hybrid map, obviously, but the water shenanigans are crazy. So, ladies and gents, let's go look at some water shenanigans. Let's hop into the next one and let us go and see who is going to make Big Dog. Puppypaw goes for the middle dog firstly. So let me just explain the map to people who don't play tournaments like most of us. So there's a few fishes here. There's a few fishes here. And there's a few fishes in the middle. So you have your, I'm going to call them safe fish back at base on both sides. And then you have middle fish and then you have the side fish. Now, most people go for the side fish because obviously it's closer to your base, easier to defend. But Puppypaw fears no one. Puppypaw fears, I don't know. I don't know. God, maybe he doesn't. Who knows? Puppypaw's the kind of guy you want on your side when the war breaks out because he will go build a dock in the enemy base and he will win. So Puppypaw goes for a dock in the middle to try and get all this aggressive fish. It's like going for a boar in the middle of the map. What he's doing. Oh, not a boar. It's like going for deer in the middle of the map. That's what he just did. Pretty big brain.
Puppypaw the type of guy to plonk farms in his enemy's base. You know? That's just what he does.
Yes. Perfect.
And I won't hear anything different.
Oh my gosh. Now this man now, he is just going to be snacking on every bit of fish that comes his way. This woman working her heart out, gilded at that. And we will be speeding through Dark Age like we do. So we can see when the shenanigans begin. But with the deer being able to push them into your TC, it does help with the food situation as well. It does cause some people to not go on wood because you feel like you do have a very safe food source anyway.
Yeah, and the woodlines they're a step away, aren't they? They're not exactly in TC range, so having to move out to that, you're putting your villagers at risk. Of course, there's outposts and stuff that you can do to counter that, but other than that, I mean, look at there's 2 fat woodlines, there's 3 small ones, and then there's side islands, which is massive amounts of resources as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing how these two coerce the map in terms of resources, because they've got the fish, of course, but it is very, very limited.
I want to give a shout out to Twitch chat and all of this, though, because they just pointed out why VortiX did not get enclosures. Because he's such an aggressive player, he doesn't know that enclosures exist. He probably has never gotten to Imperial on English. He's the kind of guy who kills you in Feudal with mangonels, even though they're only unlocked in the next stage. He's the most aggressive man in the land.
Enclosures who?
Enclosure who? Yeah, no, exactly. I've never heard of them. Who's that guy? So, with these shoreline fish, he's definitely going to have a little bit of an advantage, but again, it's temporary because these bad boys run out after a while. Now, usually the next question is, when we get into Feudal, what do they do next in terms of the water? Some people choose to go for a second dock and get that little bit of a boost. Some people choose to be a little bit more aggressive and try to punish people for going for that water. So we do see that VortiX, though, he's the kind of guy who docks you. Double dock.
Okay.
Double dock, he says. Now,
Zero fear.
Exactly. And he's going to try to deny this. But that's the great thing about going to the middle. Even if he docks here, he's going to get a safe access to food, but you're going to be able to pull your boys back and try to win the water fight. So we'll see if this is going to be the call from Puppypaw as well. But we get a Minework versus Abbey, and Minework, it hasn't worked out too well for Mr. Puppypaw so far, so I'm excited to see him actually making this work properly. But VortiX is aware.
I do like that barracks, though. You know he's going for that. Oh, and the king. Okay, they're both going for that aggressive gameplay. At the very least, putting a few units across the map, maybe to deny fishing, maybe sneak a couple of Billy Killies. Those resources are, like I said, a little bit away from the TC. Not anything crazy, but a little scout battle in the background there, too.
Oh, and that is a beautiful shot here by the galley. Now, the thing is, he does get the emplacement here, but the problem is, even if you get the emplacement, it doesn't mean you're going to be having a good time, because those fishing boats are still in danger. This man repairing every bit he can, but that ship needs to back the hell off. I didn't want to use bad language, so I really had to focus on that one. So, Aaron Paul, thank you very much for the tier 1. Appreciate it, sir. Thank you for the continual support. And guys, for those of you who are here for the first time, this is the tournament channel where we will be doing a lot more of these events for the rest of the year. Going into 2025, this is going to be a stacked year, especially when there are downtime periods where we need to make things work. Now, the king has arrived, and guys, the royalty charge shall prevail. In circles he goes, he shall hit him again, and the men-at-arms just slice away as best they can.
That king is tiptoeing around looking for that Valley Killy, but those men-at-arms, they're doing a fantastic job. Puppypaw doing a fantastic job migrating that. That king, though, very quick and can self-heal, so running away benefits the king, and he can just dance around those villagers, possibly taking one down. Nice kill. And yeah, waddling away, just like nothing happened.
And now VortiX has responded completely as if he was like, hey, I saw that you docked there. Do you want to go dock here again? And I feel like he's got the control of the water now. He's got both sides now. And yes, he's gonna have to fight this out, and he's not gonna be for free. But it is definitely okay to have those early waters here and be able to start to push back from there on out. Now, the man-at-arm here being quite annoying, but the ship does not get baited there just yet. Because if this ship gets baited down all the way, then that could mean that he's going to be able to build the dock himself later on.
And I love the military ships that VortiX has got on the rivers, just to kind of keep them secure. And even just having that late game might even prove beneficial depending on where your opponent expands. But yeah, having that water control, just even in maps with very little water, can sometimes prove noise. By the way, nice Springle ship to take down that Puppypaw's man-at-arms, even though Puppypaw's doing just a fantastic job being everywhere on the map. Holy cow.
The thing is, VortiX is trying to do all he can here to try and delay him getting into the base, but the men-at-arms are now arriving, and this is the problem. VortiX does not have anything that deals with men-at-arms. He has a TC. He has some sheep under the TC. That man-at-arm, he doesn't care much. He's just gonna dive at the moment, and +1 coming in from him. I would not be surprised if Puppypaw just keeps pumping units, but from my assessment here, I can see he's floating a lot of food. So the transition over to the gold and going to castle would not be the worst idea. This as well, you can see VortiX knows it's coming. I probably need to make something happen. The king gladly running around, charging in on villagers, trying to do the most damage he can.
Yeah, the king is just nice, keeping control around there, and that scout as well. There are a couple scouts even keeping. Oh, I guess no, that was the VortiX scout. Keeping an eye on things, being able to, report back to the king where to harass. The dot going down though for blue on that side was that on the south side there in the middle?
Yeah, it's under duress right now, but this is just a pressure dock. This is not a committed dock. This is a dock you don't need to worry about. The white tower now being placed down, it does not secure a wood line, but it does keep your gold pretty safe, and it does allow you to do some safe farm transitions around here and around your main TC. But we instantly see some production buildings coming down next to this, so we're going to be seeing some crossbows, and probably a lot of prayers coming out of this man when it deals with the Castle Age, Order of the Dragon. And finally, we get to see Ragnar's Cathedral. He says, nice. I could get all those relics, and then it's worth it.
That is a little scary just because VortiX still has control, at least on the north side of the water. On the south side, there's one relic. On the north, there's 4. Well, arguably the north. So yeah. I think VortiX has done a fantastic job. Well, maybe not securing the relics, but at the very least applying pressure to get to relics.
So because he has the water here, it's not going to be easy to cross. So when you're playing against a cathedral, you definitely want to stop them from getting as much as possible. But this is exactly that. VortiX has done it. VortiX has ships at the crossings, and he might be able to snack these down as they try to cross the river. The one at the bottom, probably going to be a lost cause, but it does give VortiX time to go for them himself, and that's exactly what he plans on doing.
Without even missing a beat too, still applying the pressure, putting down that temple, ready to get those relics, keeping that water nice and secure, and pumping out units. I think I said that twice, but yeah, no, he's looking super fine, super nice. Not having to worry about nothing with that sweet white tower in his base too, as opposed to last game where it was slightly off position.
So even with this guy, he doesn't have safety forever. Because this is one of those maps where you can raid from the sides. It's not free for you to just sit back and enjoy. But keeping in mind, the fish are going to run out pretty soon, and getting the Burggrave Palace is great, but you do struggle with that food transition because you don't have the boosted wood. So with him still having the back fish here, he's going to be okay for a little while longer, but it does become a concern the longer the game goes. Now the villagers are migrating towards the back as the English is providing pressure at the top, which does become quite annoying because it snowballs pretty fast as well. and this horse is just trying to kill the boats, but the boats have done their job and they are ready to die for the kingdom.
Yeah, I'm also worried about the Order Dragon's food situation once again, because they went to mine work in Dawson. Of course, as we all know, English farms are such a smooth transition. So, yeah, having those. I heard a disconnect noise, and I thought I disconnected. And I completely lost my train of thought because of that.
It's okay, it happens to most of us. These games have been quite long. I say these games, but it was singular game, has been quite long. Now, with VortiX here, he's trying to provide some pressure, flanking over to the gold, because when you're attacking, you always ask yourself, where can I do the most damage? And the place where you can do the most damage is, of course, the place where the resources are. So that's exactly where he's going. Trying to stop any prelate going his way, and we see one of the relics disappearing from the map here at the top. So these guys pushing them off of gold, and Puppypaw now in a little bit of trouble with regards to gold, but he is transitioning to archers, so we'll see if those archers are already upgraded. Oh, they are not.
Oh.
So he needs that bad boy pretty soon.
Lickety splickety. How's that front gold looking again? For Puppypaw?
That front gold is not looking good, Chief.
Okay.
Now this one's a little bit dented right now. He's cooked.
Yeah. Oh no.
He does find a way to afford it though. He did magically.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think the villagers were carrying gold in their hands, and luckily they carried it home and they were ready to bring it back to the base.
10 nations for the kingdom.
Now, VortiX will probably be able to push quite a lot here at the front, and this is something that he has not been effectively able to do for some of these games, like doing damage where it really matters. I think this is there was one game where he lost it, basically because he couldn't find the place to do the damage. And even though this doesn't look like a good place to do damage, it is a lot of pressure, because you're losing 4 houses here with one singular ram, and quite a bit of production as well. Now, I don't think this is going to be an easy push whatsoever, and neither does VortiX. He's waiting for that +2 attack, because he needs to fight this well. Now, these guys are quite aggressive, and the spearmen do an amazing job in impaling those horses, but the crossbows are a little bit wonky right now. They're trying to find their pathing, but it is really scary, especially with those horses right on top of you. They need to be target firing in the horsemen, and they want that attack speed buff from the English towers.
Oh, it's a nice little hold and push from tiny little push from Puppypaw too, taking those and denying that potential harassment. You know exactly where they were going back there, but luckily,
I missed it.
Oh, he ended up moving over there anyways. Oh, just a villager movement down south next to the woodlines there to your left. Yeah.
Now, these villagers had to run for their lives, apparently, as this was a split raid coming from the top. Beautiful push here by VortiX, now just causing that constant pressure. And he gets armor clad. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the chunkiest men-at-arms you'll see all game. Because the rest of this army, those men-at-arms, are melting to all the crossbows.
Oof. He's able to use those ships to his advantage too. Luckily though, Puppypaw's just targeting. He's not wasting any time. He's taking those ships down. He doesn't want nothing to do with that. And I don't blame him. There is still one relic over here. Oh, actually 2. This one's still not far that he could potentially claim.
But is this going to be a demo hit? It does look like it. It did do a little bit of damage, not completely, but pretty good.
That was a little underwhelming, but that was a cool move.
It could have been so much worse here for Puppypaw, but he comes out ahead, and now this army, really, really scary. VortiX did manage to get 2 of the relics, and another demo ship does get some damage, but again, these guys are made of steel, and they are just taking that beating like it's nothing. Now the push does not exist anymore. Now the gold is back in his hands, and Puppypaw says, I just needed enough archers, and I'm good to go, young sir. And that's exactly what happened here. Some men-at-arms taking a little bit of damage, but it just doesn't feel like it's doing what it needs to do to make this worth it.
Yeah, Puppypaw is definitely getting his eco under control, and his units count also under control. He's way ahead, at least currently, in terms of units. So maybe he'll be able to do something with this push, give him a little bit of a leap forward.
And this is now Puppypaw showing that he knows how to push an advantage, because The previous game, VortiX could not find a way to do damage after getting a lot of damage done already. So Puppypaw sees, I just won this fight, how can I get even further ahead? And by doing that, he's getting the ranged armor from the archers. So this is going to mean that these guys are not going to be taking any damage whatsoever from these ranged units. They are barely going to tickle them. And these guys are just going to keep firing.
Yeah, and I imagine he'll be able to hold with those too, just because how beefy and crazy they are. They hit pretty hard too. Got a couple of twerking fishing boats there. Oh, there we go. But yeah, no. Let's see. Oh, nice. Puppypaw was able to actually get 2 relics too. One coming in, one has been already secured, which is super nice. Heck yeah.
Now, I'm a little bit worried here for VortiX because he hasn't been able to find the damage. He's got his farm transition. His food is looking great. We're going to switch over to the income per minute. We can see VortiX is in a good position to replace these units, but he hasn't been able to command like we've seen him in the games that he won very, very clearly. So now with getting those men-at-arms, he's going to be able to survive some of the archer pushing, but it's going to get harder and harder, especially dealing with these armored knights that might be floating his way. And yeah, I'm struggling to see how he is going to be able to do some significant damage here. Yes, Puppypaw is out on the map. Yes, it's very possible to harass him. But I don't know if VortiX is now feeling confident enough to do so.
Yeah, I think right now it kind of looks like he's just kind of moving out to see what damage he can get done, denying some or trying to take down that fishing. Oh, even though the fishing, I think it's, yeah, done already. But again, having those even just having those military ships in the water, I feel like is super nice because you don't know, you can sneak a couple of Achilles there too, by passing by your armies or maybe even potential harassing armies too. You can. Ooh, speaking of sneaky knights,
we finally have a raid. I called it a raid, but now it's just a standing knight. We finally have a standing knight at the back here. And he's not looking at closing it out too soon. Now, VortiX, he's looking to attack yet again. And it does look a little bit scary. But I mean, it could go either way. We saw what happened last time with Puppypaw. We saw what went wrong, what went right. He doesn't have any more men-at-arms. The chunky men-at-arms boys, he realized, might not have been the play. But now we're Pop Captain VortiX side, and it's starting to feel... I'm sure he's starting to feel the pressure now.
Mm-hmm. I'm wondering, too, when or if Puppypaw will start applying a little pressure of his own. Because, yeah, right now he's kind of defending and even currently moving towards the north to take down those ships, it looks like, to get those... Because having that vision on the water must be... Ooh, there was even some sneaky boy fishing up there. That's hilarious. But denying that and... taking that down also removes the vision for VortiX. So Puppypaw making some big moves right now, ready to start claiming the map.
And he's doing an amazing job at just slowly controlling every bit that he needs. But VortiX is confident in this push. It feels like he's got his units at the front here. He's just constantly standing around. He's been wanting this for a while. And Puppypaw, this in turn makes him very confident to be out here on the map, not having any pressure whatsoever. VortiX kind of just tunnel visioning right now onto the front lines and hoping to do some damage here.
Yeah, those men-at-arms do look quite scary, but like you said, a few knights and that's going to be a completely different story. He does have a good count of crossbows, of course, but I do like that Puppypaw is fully taking advantage of the fact that VortiX, like you said, is kind of tunnel visioning right now and moving out on the sides of the map, gathering that sweet food income that's been what I feel like is ignored by VortiX for the most part of the map. Not that he needs it; he's got those sweet farms, but yeah, gaining that side those side resources, major. And if you really wanted to, I doubt it'll get to it, but there's also a market on that side too, on both sides.
You seem like a person who sneaky trades. It's only us who sneaky trades, by the way. Okay. You're not a dirty trader. Yeah. Okay.
only like if I get bothered by it by my teammates or late game in team games. Then I'll be like, okay, fine, there's no gold. Fine, I'll trade.
Now, Puppypaw is completely caught up in the village account, and that is actually quite a scary part, because if Order of the Dragon is even in villages, with their villages already being better, this does not bode well for you. And now we see more raids coming into VortiX's base, and this is going to start getting worse and worse. Because VortiX is not able to capitalize on any of these. Now, let's get some key bindings to our units so we can watch these raids happen in real time. So we have the army thinking about pushing at the front, we have the army pushing at the back, and it just doesn't feel like he has a response to doing all of these at the same time. Villagers out here still freely gathering, and the horses being pushed back here for a second. But the army here just not sure where to turn to actually close this out.
Looks like he's splitting up his army maybe to semi-sacrifice them, but also get value out of them so he can replace his old units with good units, maybe to try to deal with this absolute mass of a force that Puppypaw's got going, because 123 units as Or the Dragon, I'm scared. I'm over here, I'm scared. I don't want to see that. I don't want nothing to do with that.
And right now we're following these armies as they do their thing, but we can see these horses. You guys, we counted the legs, 4 legs on each of those. Those guys run fast, and that is what makes them so great for these raids. They're just going to constantly be flanking and trying to do this type of stuff, keeping the base busy. But at the same time, there is a very scary push potential at the front here. Now, it's not just the scary push potential, it's also what's happening right now. Now, Dra, what is happening right now?
Looks like a... Well, I wasn't able to respond in time, but yeah, it looks like a Berkey drop to me.
Oh my gosh, how did you... Oh my gosh, it's not just any, it's a more aggressive one.
So now, we didn't just get a Berkey drop, we got a Berkey drop and then a redrop.
Oh
dang.
My god.
He's spoiling us now.
He's like,
That's
it
crazy.
wasn't aggressive enough the first time. Let me show you what I can do. Puppypaw, though, he's nowhere going to Imp. And you can't be spending your food going to Imp when you do not have your farm set up. He's starting to do so. He's doing his best, but it is quite hard. And the villagers now from VortiX, a few of them are going to go down. Poor guy's a little bit overwhelmed by everything going on. He knows he's got a Berkshire in his base, and he's like, don't worry, girl, I'm coming to push. Now, since VortiX, this is probably the second time VortiX has ever gone Imperial with English. Will he get enclosures? No.
That was the question of the day.
He says, I want elite spearmen. I need elite spearmen. No enclosures for us today. He needs elite spearmen. Elsbach Palace coming down as well. Let's go see where the man's going to place it. Right over here. The problem with this Elsbach is, yes, it's going to be buffing these buildings so they do take less damage, but it's going to be quite hard to actually capitalize off of this. You would want the English to overextend, and we'd have to see if VortiX will do such a thing. From last game, he might be.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of awkward, at least, having all of your landmarks just 1, 2, 3, 4 like that, just right next to each other. Very, very snipeable. Not, of course, these guys are high level, so the odds of that happening are, But when you're, when you're lower league, that's a little bit scarier of a thought.
I want to point out that neither of these players scouted this relic. They're both oblivious. They are like, oh my gosh, bugged spawn. Oh, enclosures! He got it! He realized... Maybe he watched one of Beastie's guides after he's like, I need to figure out what happens in Imperial Age. My whole pro career has been based off winning every single game in Feudal and Castle. VortiX knows how to play the late game. He is such a good player in general. He's got everything going for him. But this now is just showing us that he means business. And finally, with all those farms, he's going to be snacking on this gold. But let's go see if these men-at-arms are going to be getting some victims here. Men-at-arms floating here at the top, they are doing their best at just keeping these archers busy. But slowly, this is going to start to be a push. We see a bombard being made from here. So he's going to slowly start to try and take things down and hopefully get Puppypaw to crumble.
And having that bombard under the covering fire of not only an army, but a big old Berkey right there, that won't exactly be easy to take down, especially since Springles are no longer anti-siege. So having that siege is definitely going to be a pain in the neck, being able to slowly start chunking down on those landmarks.
So with the Berkshire though, and this is something I think a lot of people forget, when you repair the Berkshire, you use wood. So this thing, it's very easy. It's not like a usual keep that you have to spend a lot on. But now you guys can see that buff from the Elsbach. And honestly, I'm a little bit impressed. I thought the Elsbach will not do that much, but it's decreasing the damage significantly. The Elsbach are doing amazing work now, and it's going to fire back at this army trying to dive. And is this the overextension I mentioned earlier?
Yeah, this looks like, this just looks like a commitment here. Holy moly. I kind of dig it, though. Okay, he's moving out. He's moving out.
Now, the question is just, is VortiX going to try and capitalize? The answer is yes. VortiX says, I'm going to go use my units and raid you. So, the thing is, or not VortiX, Puppypaw. But now, the problem is, as we're pushing forward, as we're seeing these units engage, this is scary both sides, because these guys can be paying a nice little visit here to the back. These guys are going to be paying a visit. So once these units get killed, they're going to be quite hard to replace. And one bombard is not cutting it when it comes to cleaning up these buildings. Mangonel shot beautifully in the middle, and it doesn't look like VortiX notices. He's going to take another one in the middle, and he does not take it right in the middle. Good on him.
He takes that TC down. That emergency repairs is no longer a thing, so that is quite nice. Although, like you said, these raids go unchecked, and it's going to be a sad day, because suddenly you've got a huge push going on, and out of nowhere, you're out of food, and you're like, wait, what? And then, you know, you're like, oh, I need villagers. Right, great. My farms are gone. But still, nonetheless, this push from VortiX is doing an insane amount of damage. He may not be getting crazy amount of Bailey killies and all this stuff, but he's certainly doing some damage to the eco of Puppypaw in terms of production, one landmark even, and some houses.
And he gets the emergency repair all for the next one. VortiX doesn't feel too panicked to do anything about it. We do see that he's pushed back quite a bit here, but he is very low on resources. Puppypaw, though, also low on resources. It's not just about doing damage right now. He's getting a lot of idle time as well.
Ooh.
Some decent villagers snacking going on. Mangonel looking for some victims, and he might find them. Oh, he does, but not enough.
Down go more villagers. Down go the siege. That trebuchet is trying to chip into the decrease of those ranged units. VortiX slowly taking care of the rest of Puppypaw's harassment, also pushing back on the river. I mean, he's lost his push. He's lost his fuel, but I don't think it's going to take that much for him to get it all back. And just choo-choo train it back through the middle.
Now, the second TC on Puppypaw's side does help, but now this is already so much pressure. The bombard, a little bit unsure about what he wants to be attacking right now, but it can still go Puppypaw's way. He needs to be... VortiX needs to be very careful when it comes to losing his siege, when it comes to losing his longbows. He doesn't have those university upgrades that he needs to try and take down these horsemen. And you can see those horsemen are making quick work of VortiX.
Yeah, and those mangonels are lurking in the background too. They want that shot so bad. Sadly, that bombard will go down. Doing a fantastic job VortiX is doing, trying to protect that though. My goodness. Still raiding from the back though from Puppypaw, taking down, taking pot shots right now at a building. Cause sure, there's 10,000 other things going on, but having those units there still is a huge threat. And he's on the other side of the base too from VortiX. Oh my goodness.
And he's attacking from two sides like he learned, and he was like, this worked for me before, it's gonna keep working. Now the problem is, there's no other winning condition picking right now for VortiX. VortiX is playing against the man here on 2TC, who is in control of the resources on the map. He's got the gold, he's perfectly fine with it. The farm, still not looking too great, but I don't even know if he knows about this. But we'll have to see if he does invest in a little bit more siege to try and make this go down a little bit faster. VortiX does not look like he's in a rush. He gets the arrow upgrade too, and trying to clean up things at the back, but they are quite tanky.
Yeah, those arrows are just just not going down. My goodness. I just now realized that 2 sacred sites on this map, dude. They're very interesting sacred sites because you can't. This is going to sound like a silly quote. You cannot put a keep on that shallow water. So, like, having... Right.
I don't know. I have no idea. See, I'm not much of a shallow water player, so I'm going to say, I don't know, actually.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Maybe not as dumb as
Twitch chat, they know. Twitch chat knows everything. Have you met Twitch chat? They're the smartest people out there.
Times. Yeah.
Oh. Well, now...
Look at those exposed wood choppers, though. Those guys are not happy.
The problem is...
Maybe they're...
they're not going to be happy about replacing this either, because the wood is not looking too hot for Puppypaw. He's getting a bit of wood, right? But in the back of his base, this is pretty much cooked. He doesn't see the rest of these villagers, so luckily the man gets out with all his dignity intact as well. But now there's a bombard coming, and I don't know where he's going just yet, but he's not looking at the base.
Oh, there we go. He wanted to sightsee real quick. The river looked nice that particular day.
And the mangonels think they look very nice this particular day, and they might be looking real good when they start firing back. VortiX splits it perfectly.
Dang! Nice targeting down the... Oh my goodness!
VortiX, stop! We can't commentate when it is good! Stop it, man! Stop it, this is beautiful! That micro, absolutely sublime. And that just shows you why VortiX is one of the most feared players right now. This guy, he's the guy who comes and gives you nightmares. He comes into your room and he's like, archers, you're never hitting them again. You're actually in bronze 1. You queue up, you get matched against VortiX. Then, you go into queue again, you get matched up against VortiX. He's that guy. He keeps queuing into you, and you're just like, stop it. I'm not even Conqueror. Why do I get matched against this guy? Doesn't matter, VortiX is there. And he doesn't care about you crying. He's going to keep killing you with English, and you're going to keep losing rank points because the rank system is broken, and you're losing 40 points per win. So, you're just stuck in elo hell at this point. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that nightmare round. So...
that sounded maybe like you had some personal experience with that.
No, luckily not. Luckily not. I just thought of what would be the worst Tuesday ever. So these guys are really trying their best at hitting, but VortiX with the immaculate micro, he dodges everything.
What is this?
That is English, ladies and gentlemen. That is English.
Just got it down before it shot too. Dang, I feel like GG. I'm literally speechless.
I don't think we can say anything more about the game. Guys, this is where the cast will be ending. We have no more words available for the rest of the stream. And we're at match point. So honestly, enjoy the next stream in silence. I honestly thought VortiX was going to lose this with the amount of pressure from Puppypaw, but it felt like VortiX realized the trades were not working out, and he had to do something drastic to take it. So VortiX... absolutely showing us why he is regarded as a lot of people saying third best right now. Marine Lord, Beastie, VortiX. So
that is definitely shown tonight. That is for dang sure. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I ain't seen nothing like that. Nothing.
Nothing like that. Hell yeah.
Nothing.
So we were on Kurlager that last game. All right. So our next game is on Bridges. Now, guys, we saw Bridges a little bit earlier, and I hope you boys are ready. This is going to be a destruction of Order of the Dragon versus English, and we're already ready. Let's hop on in. We're at match point. Puppypaw, he needs to make this work. So, let's go see. And VortiX is being VortiX. He's making a barracks, ladies and gentlemen, but this time the gold is backwards.
VortiX looking to end this nice and quickety. He's coming off that last one with fire underneath his feet. Holy moly. I love seeing that.
VortiX and Puppy, it's actually pretty wild to see that these civilizations that people said are pretty much favored one side or the other, they've all ended up having not 4 zeros, which is a very, very big surprise. Most civilizations we thought would be an easy 4-0 walkover, but no, not for Mr. VortiX. So, we're trying to catch up with the boys, get the man-at-arm, he's got his Red Bull in him right now, you see him running, he's going straight for that goal, nothing can stop him, and except the TC fire, which is coincidentally stopping him, unfortunately.
And we got another sad at arms over there, but he's only going to be sad for a little while. Surely there's going to be some good harassment to be had soon enough, especially with. Oh man, the golds in this are. Wait, there's 2 back golds for VortiX. I'm only seeing 1 for Puppypaw. That is a sad days in paradise.
That is a tough one as well. But we see Puppypaw also going for that second TC again. He saw it work before. He knows it can work again. Abbey of Kings coming out. again for VortiX. VortiX believing in the king, like most of us believe in the king. But now mine work as well for Puppypaw. He realizes I do not need my Chappelle. I just need a lot of PCs. So the second man-at-arm coming in here and going down actually. Pretty big pickup, especially this early in the game.
Yeah, it's not always easy to try to sneak one of those down, especially when they're staying just outside of TC range. But sometimes, sometimes you can just barely get it right into the TC range to snipe, and that was a really good snipe by Puppypaw. Freaking nicely done, holy cow.
Now Puppypaw, he definitely has gotten experience in this matchup, and I feel like he's ready to take on most things, and he knows what works. What worked last time is putting the TC against the wood, getting safe wood, but I'm a little bit surprised here at the positioning, because when I saw Puppy's positioning before, I felt like there were some weaknesses to the longbows and the pressure from them specifically. So what my question is here, if the longbows stand here, they're going to be able to snack on most of the units that are going over here. But if you put your TC over here, you do have a little bit more range of wood that is quite safe to chop on. However, I don't think this matters. Puppypaw is Puppypaw. He knows what he's up to. And we'll see now if he's going to be playing around with any shenanigans. We'd see he's not, because 54 stone right here, that's for a very good reason. Drow, what do you think this reason is? English.
55 stone for a cistern, of course. No.
Yes.
Emplacements. Emplacements for that tower.
And this tower answers the questions that I've been yapping about. Like, are the longbows going to cause a lot of problems? They would have. But no, not anymore. Now he has wood to his heart's desire.
That tower being there is going to be nice defensively. From the okay, king coming across. Okay. Got some longbows and a barracks down too. Okay, VortiX he's ready to rock and roll. I think he's got that nice scout. He sees the Puppypaw has got that unfortunate resources. Maybe maybe he's annoying with longbows. Oh man, that is some distance covered right there. They're shooting across national forests. Holy cow.
Now, what I want you to notice is Puppypaw says, I know you have longbows, but I'm getting steeled arrow myself because I don't care. And why doesn't he care? Well, because he's going to go for archers himself, and he knows he's going to be able to outmax or outdo the archers of the English. He's just going to have more of them. So, what is happening right now? Oh, I was going to say, that was kind of busted. He does go down.
Oh, dang.
He pays the price.
Nice snipe. He does.
But now,
he did.
Puppypaw is in a position now that we usually don't see Order of the Dragon in. Order of the Dragon has more villagers, and Order of the Dragon's villagers just do so much better so quickly. We can see already doing a farm transition. He's like, I'm not going to run out of food, actually. I'm just going to outproduce you. And now already, those archers are looking scary. He's not making any horses. He doesn't feel like he needs to. And these archers are pushing back, but they do need to be careful. Villagers instantly going to back them up, and the king taking a bit of fire, but knowing that that bad boy can heal up, he's not too worried.
Not worried at all. And having this little pressure right here, you know, he looks like he's kind of teasing the other gold too. You know, he knows about it, the scouts over there. So being able to deny gold is super nice. Of course, you can still get your wood units out. But being denied gold while your opponent's just getting it freely leaves sad room for upgrades on your side. Now although he does have the mine work, so he will have that.
He'll have cheaper upgrades, and he'll have a very good time trying to fight most of what comes his way, because he has both of these. Now, with the archer only composition he has, he should be able to rival these longbows, but the longbows are being annoying. We do get some garrison slots working hard, and now the archers are firing back.
Sneaky. There is that king right there, though, making sure his presence is known. So those archers are still risky, although that number is climbing. And as soon as it gets high enough, oh man. The tower coming up too. Nice. VortiX moving forward. He committing to an outpost even.
But with the siege
like that.
engineering as a choice, I honestly think that after this, Order of the Dragon 2TC meta will be tried, because this is showing
say
us
that.
it pays off so quickly. You can easily get your units out and you can be able to defend this, because with these guys, the villagers, again, they're great, they're fast, they're chunky, and they actually just deal pretty well with anything that goes their way, especially with archers. And now Puppypaw is overtaking in military numbers compared to VortiX. And yes, those are rams, they're going to go hammer away at that outpost, but that doesn't matter. There's emergency repair.
At the moment, though, Puppypaw only does have some archers, and they only do so much damage to rams. But that could change in an instant. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
The king takes so much, and all of a sudden, that king looks like he's made of paper. The villagers, though, they do really good damage against these, so they're not too worried about that at all. The villagers making quick work of that ram, already half HP, and the longbows look like they are made of absolute paper.
Absolutely beautiful snipe. Holy cow. Animate. And there's a GG. Oh my goodness.
See, as an English player, I've been here. I felt this. I know this. I see why we got what we got. I see why he tapped out. I see why the man has pulled the plug and he's like, I'm done. I've had enough. And he's going to go into the final game. So, ladies and gents, can we get some votes in the chat? 1 for Puppypaw, 2 for VortiX. Do we have any of the boys ready? 1 for Puppypaw, 2 for VortiX.
Oh, wow. That's
People believe in the puppy. People believe in the pup. All right. So, ladies and gents, we are ready on our last map, Holy Island. And Puppypaw on a civilization that is regarded as very much favored in this matchup. We have Order of the Dent.
Now this map isn't, or sorry, and then we've got English as well. This map, sorry about that. This map isn't, or doesn't have that tricky little cliff there for the fishing chappas. So these guys look like they are free to go fishing. And I've casted this map once, one other time before, and maybe even been with you, honestly. But this map is super cool because you got land battles and you got ship battles, and you've even got resources across the land. You got a relic over there, you got a sacred site over there. Oh man, this map is full of possibilities.
Now, most possibilities involve gathering sheep and winning water. VortiX, known as a water god, so he is a man that most people will fear playing on water. But keeping in mind, Puppypaw does have the surf pick over him. Order of the Dragon is very much known as a much stronger pick on water. So English, they are quite balanced. It's a pretty decent pick to have if you have nothing left. But Order of the Dragon does take a little bit of an advantage here. Now, VortiX, he should be able to control the early game. But Order of the Dragon, especially if he goes for the chapel, should overwhelm him pretty quickly.
Yeah, that chapel influence gives you that absolutely amazing wood income, and that, of course, is going to lead right into your dock situation. And well, we all know what happens if you take water on this map. That's pretty much GG's, because that's infinite fishing. That's craziness over there. But yeah, I'm very excited to see what kind of land play we got going on here, because obviously land play is just as important on this map as water play. Because you take the water, you lose the land. Well, that's GG's.
The problem is, for Puppypaw, he knows the weaknesses of the civilization that he's playing as well. He knows how to handle this against English, because English, they do have that map presence anyway. And this is why some civilizations have a little bit of an edge on this map too. English being able to get that king pretty early on, they get a unit with a lot of map control pretty quickly. And Puppypaw knows this. He's not going to be playing that game. He's going to be playing the safe game and making sure that the king does not get to raid him for free. So very responsible play here by Puppypaw, causing VortiX to not be able to get this for free. And we see he's aging up with 6. He wants to get into feudal. He needs this king and he needs to take control of the land so that he can win the water.
And I like how the Puppypaw put his Ogden Chapel right there, kind of acting as slight wall for units to go around before they get to the villages. I like that. Excuse me. And he's left just plenty of room for farms towards the TC, which is absolutely gorgeous.
Now, we see the military ship already queued up from Puppypaw the moment he hit the age up, and a VortiX doing exactly the same. Now, with the second dock as well on VortiX's side, he knows how important this water is, and he's doubling down on them.
Yeah, getting that second dock is kind of nice. I'm almost surprised he didn't place one super aggressive, but this is a completely different map. So doing that would be just straight hilarious. But he did take it that second dock, which I love. Ooh, Puppypaw moving across to try to get some early-ish fishing harassments. Well, early to me, to be honest.
You know, usually the person with the galley, the person that gets the galley out first, they send it across the map as quickly as possible so that their opponent needs to respond just as fast. So VortiX now, he had to queue up the Springald ship, which is a little bit more expensive than your usual galley, because it also uses gold, and you can see the price difference there. A lot more wood and a lot more food. But that's the price you pay for aging up next, because you have to be able to respond to this initial galley push that you see. Now, what Puppy also did is he knows that the king is coming, so he's making a plan against it. He's getting that gilded spearman to stand in the line and make sure he can push off the man coming up into his wood line pretty soon. Let's go see what that king has planned. He's going straight for the gold.
He wants some gold chopper action. Although I don't know if that would be too. Yep, there it is. There's the spearman. He's ready. He's ready to rumble. Nicely done. Nicely scouted. Nicely reacted to. And now they're gonna play a little bit of ring around Rosie. Oh, that spearman catching up though. Oh, that was a nice little jab.
Spearman almost going down, but he does get the scout instead. Pretty big pickup here for him either way. But getting a scout this early in the game is such an advantage. But now on water, we see Puppypaw. He is not investing as much on water, but rather on land. And VortiX, he hasn't committed to anything just yet. I feel like we were looking between two spots now. But Order of the Dragon, they just have a better economy right now. The Arcane Chapel increases the ability of villagers to gather resources so quickly. So Puppypaw is going to be, oh no, losing a king this early.
Dang! Oh man. What a snipe! And he's at the gold line of VortiX. Oh no!
All of a sudden,
he's got gold. His gold's right there too. He's got back gold to the side, but oh man!
This means that we're not this fish upgrade that he's getting. He's getting a great boost on his fishing ships, but now he cannot make any demos. He cannot make any Springald ships. He is going to be stuck making a bunch of galleys, and this is so unfortunate. He gets one more Springald ship, but he knows where this is going. The moment you're pushed off of your gold, especially with these units, it's so hard to come back from this, and VortiX did not invest enough onto the land to actually take control of this. This is going to be a very tough one for him, and he's going to need to make a play pretty quickly to get back on gold to be able to produce ships that can deal with what he has in front of him.
Having that side gold right there is super nice, because having 3 golds on the south side of your base and now they're all covered by yellow units, that kind of sucks. So thankfully that gold to the north was there for VortiX, and I raid into the wood line too. Oh man, causing more idle time on the wood line, that is super painful, especially when you're being pushed on water.
So now, even though VortiX does take the initial lead on water here, he has to move his units all the way out here, and we can see that's a lot of villagers. That's 18 villagers idle for quite some time. Now, getting some longbows out himself, trying to deal with the units that are in his base. He should be able to push these out for now, but the damage has been done on water specifically. Puppypaw has been making ships at home, trying to get that mass to be even scarier, and slowly he's going to be able to push back.
That mass is looking definitely big time scary. Not to mention he's getting all of that uninterrupted, while interrupting too. So I'm wondering if and when he scouts that gold, if that's going to be that's going to be a big slap for sure. Oh, he does have a tower next to it though, which is super nice.
No,
not to mention it's right next to the water.
The problem about this is that's a lot on gold. I feel like this is one of those instances. Remember when I keep mentioning responsible castle? I feel like this is one of those instances where he could be like, okay, I'm gonna make units as much as I can, but then I could just go for a fast castle and try to get a 2TC and try to win it on land instead. But it does feel a little bit iffy. And we can see here, that is again idle time. This spearman might not get any unit kills, but he does get a lot of idle time, which does give Puppypaw the advantage on water.
And forcing VortiX to react once more. Thankfully, though, he only had to react on land rather than land and water. But that could change momentarily, especially with those units going towards the gold right now.
Man-at-Arm does absorb most of the shots, so the villagers get a little bit of idle time, but they're back to business as usual right after, and VortiX is going for castle. This man, but so is Puppypaw. Puppypaw goes for the burger, and again, delicious choice, but king goes down again. This is wild. Losing the king twice to a spearman when you are supposed to be doing the damage, it shows you exactly how good Puppypaw is playing this game by keeping VortiX busy. VortiX is not a man who loses control of his units. Puppypaw is the only man who can do this to him, and if the game keeps going like it is, we'll see if Beastie is also going to be in that scenario. But now the white tower does come down, and with the white tower, you do get castle. But you are stuck with the situation of, I don't have any economic advantage. I'm not able to overtake Order of the Dragon anytime soon.
Yeah, that woodline being safe is nice, but still kind of equal in terms of villagers, especially it being, or like I said, Order of the Dragon. So getting that up, nice, yeah, cool, but hopefully there's something behind that, because I mean that's a big fleet right there. Scoutboy just barely escaped.
Now, this does secure the wood line from one side at least. But we know Puppypaw. He is just looking at exactly the other side. But now the water battle, as we all know and love. Let me just switch over so we can keybind these bad boys. This is a very unevenly matched water battle, I would say, because it feels like Puppypaw does have a lot more at home, and he's just... Ooh! I say that, but VortiX's micro on water is absolutely sublime. He is making sure that he takes care of anything coming his way. And the units here from Order of the Dragon, they're stuck attacking the Abbey of Kings right now.
And I almost think that at this point, Puppypaw, because VortiX is so great on the water, maybe needs to start with more distractions on land, which is he's currently doing, just so he can maybe get a slight pusher advantage over the water. Just because that is insane what he's doing with those ships. How is that even possible?
The fact that he's able to move them a slight bit forward, attack and move before Puppypaw's ships even think about attacking, is showing exactly why he's regarded as one of the best on water. He's playing at a disadvantage with the civilization picks here, and he's already doing an amazing job on the water. But don't count Puppypaw out just yet. He causes a lot of idle time yet again, and slowly these longbows are trying to follow up. But this is the type of pressure you need if you want to be taking down VortiX, because as we can see, the army on the ground is doing so much work, and it doesn't look like VortiX is going to be able to get the resources he needs to keep making ships.
Yeah, not having that long of idle time is definitely going to put you behind. It's not quite losing villagers, but you may as well be with all that idle time is going on.
He keeps trying to fire with them, but these gold villagers are running for their lives up and down, up and down. There's absolutely no way for him to constantly do this.
Yeah, being forced back on the water over and over again is quite unfortunate, because I'm assuming he was trying to get some damage done on Puppy's fishing. That way he can breathe a little bit, because Puppy has been all over his case, water on land everywhere. And that's not to say that VortiX isn't just doing a fantastic job on just defending and keeping up with it.
Now, it feels like here Puppypaw is pulling back, and he's just letting his civilization do the talking. You see he's going to go pick up some relics, while VortiX, on the other hand, he's also trying to make a play for those relics, going for the safer one first instead. So now Puppypaw with the map control, he's definitely happy taking this, but these ship numbers, they don't lie, and it looks like Puppypaw is going to be able to snipe these out pretty quickly. That is a lot of military ships. And there's even a fishing boat in there to confuse people, I assume. Or to heal stuff up. Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, this it's just going to take one little demolition ship, though. It's going to be sneaky. There's one still hidden in there. Yeah, there's one still hidden in there that wants to get it. Or is it two? I can't tell anymore. They're so invisible.
The
That's
problem
the
is,
sneaky raid Puppypaw.
this is a massive raid onto the gold, and this doesn't have an answer. And even now, if he wins the water, the land is completely in shambles at the moment. These villagers, again, a lot of idle time. They do not even have a wheelbarrow. These guys are running so slowly, trying to get to safety, but these guys just run a little bit faster, and they're going to be able to catch up and take them down. These archers are able to snack on everything they see. Some of these villagers, he's actually not focusing on too much. He's actually deciding to prioritize the military units. Villagers on their way back, going to their death.
No. Oh. VortiX looks like he's outnumbered on the water. Still, definitely outnumbered on the land in terms of units. Crossbows coming in, doing a little bit of damage. Nothing major, though. I mean, those units are still running rampant, and that fleet from Puppypaw is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And those upgrades, those upgrades are climbing in.
Now we can see
With it having an sorry, go ahead. Just get overly excited here.
You can see Puppypaw, he's able to secure another relic behind this as well, and he's just massing up at the same time. Getting a lot more archers. He's seen this work. He's liking how this works. And it looks like Puppypaw is just hiding the pure strength of his fleet at the back here. He hasn't actually gotten a lot of galleys here to try and deal with demolition ships. He realizes he can just micro himself to victory. And now the Springhill ship number is not looking too good for VortiX here. This is a pretty scary matchup because that's the only type of ship that he has.
And that number is not climbing, especially with all this idle time that's going on in the gold area. Woodline's fine, of course, but and the food's fine, but if you don't have any gold, I mean that's sad days. You're gonna have a very hard time keeping up. Not to mention, if your opponent continues to get gold, they're gonna get imp. You won't be imp, and then things were really gonna be sad.
Now these guys are looking for a spot to attack, and at the same time the ships are trying to focus fire, and that is usually when you want to attack your opponent, when you feel confident that you are going to be overwhelming him. And this is the type of army that will overwhelm you. The archers in position to take down these crossbows, and Puppypaw hiding the sheer mass of his army. He's about to show him what he can do, though.
Oh man, yeah, he almost has enough ships to just move that. Holy cow! Not that VortiX is completely defenseless, so he's got a few land units trying their best to defend those gold choppers. And I don't know if they'll be able to hold this force though. That's too much. It's too many. The upgrades are too good.
And it feels like those units are going to overwhelm him in a moment with the demolition ships coming in. Not be making a greatest connection, but there's a counter connection coming through now, and that's what happens if you get overwhelmed on water. It is going to be a cooking. The man goes down, and Puppypaw reigns supreme on Order of the Dent.